at 356-6700. Makes a great gift as well. If you know someone that's moved away from the area, subscription to the Alabama Gazette would be just the thing, a piece of Montgomery they can hold in their hand, and we'll keep the price a secret. $38, the Alabama Gazette, 1 full year. What are you waiting for? Give them a call, 356-6700. The Alabama Gazette, they are most worthy of your support.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
Stop playing with it.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy?
This whole thing with Obama saying the rich don't pay their taxes is bull. And I voted for the guy and I'm a Democrat. What a hole. The rich don't pay their taxes. Let me tell you something, right? First they say to you, you're dead broke. The United States of America, you can do anything you want, go for it. So then you go for it, and then you make it, and everyone's like, you. Yeah, you just said go for
it. Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Flying solo today for the first hour. I believe Brian Dawson, the founder of 1819 News, will be stopping by the program. Also might have an appearance of Jonathan Strange of XI Repair. And the big breaking news today, well, is that Donald John Trump, his trial in the documents case, now there are more apparently forthcoming, but the trial date has been set by Judge Eileen Cannon. And that date is May of 2024. So Judge Cannon ordered Friday that the trial in the classified documents case be done in May of 2024. U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon said the trial could begin as early as May 20th. A pretrial hearing in the case will be held on May the 14th. If that timeline holds, folks, then the trial would fall deep into the 2024 race. Well, isn't that convenient? It would be a rebuke to Trump and his legal team who wanted to postpone the trial. Yeah, they did request that. That's not happening. However, Cannon's order also means that the case will unfold at a far slower speed than what the special counsel Jack Smith's team was proposing when it recommended a fast-paced timeline that would start the trial in mid-December of this year. Such a schedule would have a trial wrap-up before primary voting gets underway in the 2024 election, where Trump is leading in the GOP polls. The vast majority of state primaries will be finished by mid-May, although Nebraska, Maryland, and West Virginia will set to hold their primary elections on May the 14th. So, wow, Trump could sweep through primaries across this great nation of ours and then find himself in court in May. He will find himself in court in May unless they come up with some crazy excuse not to do it. Strange times we live in. And in other news, Rand Paul, his office is burning down, and his Senate office in Kentucky. This is days after Rand Paul filed to the DOJ that, hey, here's a referral to prosecute Dr. Fauci. Because Fauci lied to me, lied to Congress, in particular on gain of function and that research going on at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. But yeah, Rand Paul's office in Kentucky, right as we speak, is burning. And this is, no joke. And I'm not just pulling this out of thin air. Oh, speculate what happened. There are now authorities investigating that. Could be bad wiring or something, or is there foul play afoot? We shall see as the day goes on. Also, and I'm looking forward to talking to a guest about this, and 272-9228 if you want to call in on the program. 2 out of 5 young adults now think the tradition of marriage, or as I was raised in the Roman Catholic Church, the sacrament of marriage, well, they don't think it matters. 2 out of 5 young adults, we'll get into that. A sign for the economy, whether or not it's going well, like a crash might be looming in the distance, is the inversion of the yield curve and big old red light. Like, it's the biggest inversion since before the Great Depression. So we'll be fine. Oh, and also, this is fine. This is just fine. Like, it's not going to be thermonuclear war. Putin warns Poland he'll respond to aggression against Belarus. He will treat an attack on Belarus like an attack on Russia. As the Polish, and it's in their media, have been talking about, hey, maybe, Lvov, they're in the western part of Ukraine, right next door to Poland. They used to be a Polish city. It essentially is a Polish city. This is how that's going right now. As the Russians and the Ukrainians trade lives, the war of attrition, if you look into certain sources like these open source maps, it is a slow back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, and by the way, there's also whistleblowers coming out at Fox News. Aren't you glad we dropped Fox News from these airwaves? This whistleblower revealed the company is matching employee donations to the Satanic Temple, far-left LGBTQ activist organization, the Trevor Project, Planned Parenthood, and Montgomery's own, the Southern Poverty Law Center. Fox News is doing that. So they are who you thought they were. So hat tip to anybody who's already watching Newsmax or OAN or Real American News, or maybe you're just watching what you can on the YouTube. So plenty to get to today, but it looks like we've got a call rolling in at 272-9228. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, buddy, Red Top.
Hey, Red Top, how you doing?
Scalding hot. How is putting Donald Trump on trial for the impeachment again, for the January 6th thing, how's that not double jeopardy since he's already been tried and found innocent by the Congress?
Well, it's a separate thing. It depends on what sort of charges. And they might be trying to tie a conspiracy charge, saying, well, folks, if you knew certain folks who knew certain folks that were bringing weapons to the Capitol, then you were engaged in an insurrection and a conspiracy to overthrow the government, that's the one crime that would disqualify Trump from running for president.
And I agree with what you said, Joey, but in a way, think about what I said. They're performing double jeopardy on this man all over the place. Yeah, they might be taking him to a different court or something. And
they're thinking about, for instance, it gets worse. Fannie Willis, I think that's the person's name, and Georgia is thinking about racketeering charges, and not just hitting Trump, but all sorts of folks that were working on that election in Georgia. So it goes from bad to worse.
They have really stretched the amendments, and you damn right this has something to do with Dr. Fauci and Rand Paul's office burning down. They're getting real close to the source of the whole stink in the swamp, aren't they, buddy?
Absolutely.
And I love it. I hope they keep it up. And I saw an ad on ABC News this morning. Looked like a political ad, but it ain't election season, and it was against Tommy Tuberville. It was intense, and it was long.
What did they say? He's a racist who hates the military or something?
Well, they're just talking about how he's holding up the military, how he's hurting soldiers, If you can Google that thing, you need to watch it and maybe play it on the air, because I was stunned. I've never seen an attack ad on a senator out of election season.
Well, he is target number one right now within the Republican Party and within the Senate because of this hold. I'm sorry. I think our military readiness is hurt by, this top-heavy, sclerotic Pentagon bureaucracy that's now wasting all our ammunition in Ukraine. So, and I say wasting because are the Ukrainians winning? I don't know. I don't think I see that in the cards.
Joey, have a good weekend.
Appreciate it. Oh, real quick, I'll have Tuberville will be on this program on Tuesday at 2 o'clock.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
See you, bud.
Thanks, man. 272-9228. So legal troubles for Donald John Trump continue apace. But what I really like is Rand Paul, as you just heard Red Top mention, going after Dr. Fauci. This is an exclusive report from BreitbartNews.com. Rand Paul, we have referred Fauci to the DOJ for prosecution for lying to Congress. Rand Paul told Breitbart News Daily he has referred Dr. Anthony Fauci for prosecution, explaining that the former National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases chief lied during his testimony before Congress. Paul initially said he gave Fauci the benefit of the doubt in 2020, deeming Fauci a disinterested public health figure. Hey, Rand Paul, I did the same thing. Or, how do I put that differently? I made the same mistake. I thought I was distrustful of the government before COVID. And, well, that whole era showed me, Joey, you still trust way too much about this government. I had hoped, folks, that expertise, disinterested experts, so to speak, actually might be just that, disinterested. You just go where the science follows. But we have learned it's not just in, say, epidemiology or virology or public health measures. It's across the board in expertise. It has been corrupted and poisoned by the march for more and more power. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So that's why, hey, we got to go find these bat viruses in some cave and bring them to this lab and soup them up to where it could infect humans and oops, oh, look, there's a huge pandemic happening. But it wasn't us. Sorry, wasn't us whatsoever. And you also see that the ideas that science deems correct in this day and age tend to be the ideas that call for more centralization of wealth and power in the hands of a few. I just think science might suggest that sometime that we need a central authority to deal with a problem. Science might suggest that at times. But all the time, every single answer seems to tell the government who's funding all these research projects, hey, yeah, the government needs to be more powerful and more centralized. It's an absurd dynamic. So I, like Rand Paul initially in this thing, was like, well, let Fauci do it. He seemed like a guy, Let him go through it. And we all learned the hard way. And Paul goes on. He says, as he had further interactions with Dr. Fauci, he concluded that the former White House medical advisor was a dishonest individual, determined to cover up his initial response to the coronavirus pandemic. He pointed to further evidence this week, the emergence of an email featuring Fauci summarizing a phone call in early 2020. Quote, this is when they're just beginning to look into the pandemic. And in that email, he, Rand Paul referring to Fauci, basically says, yes, we're suspicious that this could be a manipulated virus because it came from a lab in Wuhan, where they do gain-of-function research. Paul then describes the research. Well, actually, Fauci describes the research in the email, Paul describing Fauci's description. Well, this directly contradicts everything Fauci told Rand Paul in that health committee time after time, denying absolutely that they funded any gain-of-function research. It's an absolute lie, Paul said. That's why we ended up referring Fauci again this week to the DOJ for prosecution for lying to Congress. I mean, do you remember some of those exchanges where Rand Paul is saying, I believe it was the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists or something that put out that first big detailed report on the lab leak theory. Incredibly plausible. It seems like, at this point, the most likely explanation. If it had been a natural path, we probably would have already found, okay, what are the intermediate? It started with bats. What are the intermediate animals? Remember the talk of pangolins the whole time? So based on that reporting by the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, Rand Paul started questioning Fauci about the lab leak. And Fauci, of course, got all hot and bothered and said, Senator Paul, you have no idea what you're talking about. What we did is we were told we can't do gain of function, but we redefined gain of function in the bureaucratic legalese, and we tipped it to China, so it's not gain of function. What the hell is wrong with you, Fauci? So good on Rand Paul for continuing to push this. And he continues in his interview with Breitbart, pointing out an exchange of emails between Anthony Fauci and half a dozen prominent international virologists. And these emails go back and forth. These virologists from around the world are saying they're looking at the genetic sequence of COVID-19. And they find that there are some strikingly unusual characteristics of it that made it look like it's been manipulated in the lab. And this band of close virologists that are Fauci's close buddies, and these are all people who have been proponents previously of gain-of-function research, creating viruses that don't occur in nature to experiment on things, they all tell Fauci it looks manipulated. So Fauci summarized the phone call about a day later, and it's in an email they have never released to us. Then finally, it was obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request and through the House involvement through threat of subpoena. In the email, Fauci summarizes the call with all these virologists. It says, describes the worry among all these virologists, himself included. He's not a virologist, but he also has worries and is worried that it looks like it's been manipulated, the virus. And this is especially suspicious because we know they do gain-of-function research in Wuhan, and he describes that research. So essentially, lawmakers have proof Fauci funded this research, proof he acknowledged it. Before Congress, however, Fauci said unequivocally they had never funded gain-of-function, which Paul said is a lie. Paul also said Fauci has attempted to cover his lie by essentially changing the definition of gain-of-function. Yeah, and I was seeing it in real time when Fauci was doing that. There aren't clear definitions, Senator. We're the bureaucracy. Whatever we define it as is what is true. We're the scientists. We're the experts. Get in with it. You don't know what you're talking about, Senator Paul. I think he did, Dr. Fauci. He's got you dead to rights. Now, does this mean the DOJ will do anything? No! Because, again, the expertise isn't just corrupted in the health departments. It's corrupted in the DOJ, the FBI, the agency. Don't get me started on the FDA, or certainly started on the way our banking system currently operates. Stealing people blind. Folks that are trying to save money, especially older folks on fixed income. Inflation is a bitch, excuse me, pardon me. And we act like, oh, we brought it down. We solved the problem. Well, how are you going to make up for all that lost money for all those years? Well, you're not. And you're going to continue to print more money so you can continue to fund projects that are insolvent here at home and wars that you don't really have any intention, it seems, of winning abroad. Again, these folks don't want to solve problems. They don't want to actually serve people. What they want to do is serve themselves in the name of the people and just manage the problem so they can go into the next, promotion. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. We definitely have more coming up, especially this warning from Vladimir Putin towards Poland. Some strong, harsh words, and it's not like the Polish are being little kittens either. They're making a lot of ominous noises themselves. It's this sort of thing that's another reason why you maybe shouldn't have expanded NATO as much as you did. Is what happens if a Poland, or even, God forbid, in a different situation, a Turkey, decides to strike out and do something on their own. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by New Look Decorating Center. And they're at New Look Decorating Center. Well, Brett Lanham and the team, Brett's the manager, Jordan, Katie are the paint specialist. Well, Brian's the owner, also a paint specialist in his own right. And they can help you with all your paint and stain supply selections. So it could be you're doing it yourself, got a small deck that you want to restain, or maybe you want to repaint the bedroom, but go buy New Look Decorating, not only because they provide that high-quality Benjamin Moore paint and stain supplies, they also can give you tips and tricks so you do it yourself the right way the first time. And if you're thinking about a bigger job, say you're repainting the whole exterior of your home, well, you're going to contract that out to a professional painter. Why not stop by New Look Decorating Center first and ask them, hey, who do you recommend for this particular job I would like to get done? Now, New Look Decorating is a 40-year institution here in Montgomery, 40 years in business. They're local folks who help support other local folks, and they help support you with those, paint and stain selections. And you're not only helping the Montgomery economy when you buy from New Look Decorating Center, you're also helping the Alabama economy. One of Benjamin Moore's largest plants is right here in Alabama, in Pell City, Alabama. So check them out today. You can always call New Look Decorating Center at 271-0007 or check them out online at newlookdecoratingcenter.com. But the best way is to stop by. Go see those smiling faces over there. I mean it. Brett Lanham, that's a man passionate about paint. Just stop by. 6237 Atlanta Highway here in Montgomery, right where Bell Road dead ends to Atlanta Highway. They have their own traffic light. You'll see it there in all its glory. Benjamin Moore's New Look Decorating Center. And be sure to tell them that you heard about him here on News and Views in the afternoon. Tell them Joey sent you. More News and Views, after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Shaw's Garden Center and Landscaping will help make your yard bloom this summer. Pine straw bales, only $4.50. Browse their assortment of ornamental concrete. July special, save 25% on select hanging baskets and annual bedding plants. Shaw's is the River Region's exclusive retailer for wood furniture by Grassy Ridge Gazebos. With 50 years of horticulture experience, Shaw's Garden Center can offer you advice and tips to help you get growing. Visit 3295 Wetumpka Highway in Montgomery. Like them on Facebook or go to shawsgardencenter.com.
This is Evan Bass for Montgomery Men's Health, and I've been helping men with low testosterone issues for over a decade. I've seen firsthand how low testosterone sneaks up on you, often so slowly that you just get used to all the issues that come along with being low T. If you're experiencing a low sex drive, if your energy just isn't what it used to be, if you're gaining unwanted fat or have issues with muscle gain in the gym, you very well may have low testosterone. At Montgomery Men's Health, we've successfully treated many men for low T, and the results can be life-changing. Many of our patients start putting on muscle again when they work out. They find they have more energy, they sleep better, and their sex lives often improve as well. So make an appointment today and see if low T therapy can make the difference for you. Your first appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult with testosterone lab results in minutes. Call 334-440-3663. That's 334-440-3663 or go to montgomerymenshealth.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. John, what are you doing? Get in my car. Why are you walking to work?
Thanks, man. It's these insanely high gas prices. They are draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore.
Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do, because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, you're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SMART for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code SMART. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SMART for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SMART.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I miss Eddie, I have to admit, but he deserves the break. And again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. Now, the fallout from the hearing yesterday, and I had more of an opportunity to watch this hearing on censorship at the House Oversight Committee. It's a subcommittee on the weaponization of government. And there are a lot of great moments, mostly RFK Jr., but several other folks who were speaking. And then the reaction by leaders in the Democratic Party. In particular, I'm going to play Hakeem Jeffries, just to give you a sense of what Democrats are saying about RFK Jr., at least Democrat leadership. It never confuse, it applies to Republicans too, never confuse Democrat leadership or Republican leadership with actual liberals and conservatives. Because anybody, I don't care how God-fearing, how good you are, how pure your heart is, if you want to climb to the height of power in this country, you're going to end up doing a little evil things out of necessity. Isn't government just that, a necessary evil? Yeah, so these practical people who rise, they talk a good game about ideals, but it's usually just a stepping stone to more and more power. So don't confuse leadership and the folks actually ambitious and trying to fight for that power with the folks they constantly fool and dupe every few years during election time. I'm looking forward to this year to watch all the duping happen all again. But here's RFK Jr. Just want to go along with this fella. This quote right here, it's reminding people who we are. If you're a liberal, this is what you're supposed to be about. If you believe in liberty in the first place, this is what Americans are supposed to believe in. This is the First Amendment. You would think that the Democratic Party would care about such things, but now you've got like the New York Times, of all places, well, not that shocking, saying that, well, is there a role for government to fight misinformation, disinformation? My favorite is, RFK was talking about it yesterday at the hearing. We've talked about it before in the show. My favorite was the malinformation. So malinformation, what is that? Well, misinformation is like, it's mistaken. It's false, but you don't know it's false. You're just a big dummy. Telling you folks, follow a stupid kid home, you're going to find stupid parents, and we got a lot of stupid people in this country, and it knows no particular party. The stupidity might be America's universal value, the whole idiocracy. It's just miserable. So that's misinformation. Disinformation is when you're actively trying to push false information. Say you are a Russian, member of their intelligence, the GRU, or you're part of the CIA, and you want to push out disinformation to folks. That's what it is. But what is malinformation? Well, malinformation, folks, is information that is arguably true, but it's not politically true or politically correct. What's that thing AOC said years ago? That I might not be factually right, but at least I'm morally right. Now you're starting to get to the heart of what malinformation is. So it's arguably something that's true. It's something that's true, but that truth might be dangerous or inconvenient to the powers that be and the agenda and narrative of the political parties and their propaganda campaigns. So that one in particular, you could drive a truck through that loophole, so-called malinformation. I think that's why they got so upset with RFK Jr. sharing the study of the disparate impact of the COVID-19 virus on different ethnicities. That's one example of, yeah, it's true, but you shouldn't say it, Robert, because big dummies are going to take it to use it for their awful racism or something. So people who aren't racist, who aren't anti-Semites, who aren't white supremacists, who aren't Nazis, though I guess everybody on the right is now accused of that, but the vast majority of people aren't those things. You can't share information you know is true because of a tiny minority that would misuse this sort of propaganda. I don't know. It's got to be true information in my mind at the end of the day. Let's go to RFK Jr. This is a short clip reminding people about what it means to be American, at least in part when it comes to the liberty of thought and speech.
A government that can censor its critics has license for every atrocity. It is the beginning of totalitarianism. There's never been a time in history when we look back and the guys who were censoring people were the good guys. All of us grew up reading Arthur Koestler, Robert Heinlein, Aldous Huxley, George Orwell, and they were all saying the same thing. Once you start censoring, you're on your way to dystopia and totalitarianism.
He's right. And by the way, of those he named, I think Huxley's the one who got it the most right. What dystopia would we face in the future? I think Huxley hit the nail on the head. Because Orwell was all about sort of the jackboot, the boot stamping on the human face for all time. That we will use power, manipulation, torture, even killing and murder to get the party's way. And definitely some of that goes on in the world. Just go hang out in Russia, that mobocracy, or go hang out in China, or a lot of parts of the Middle East, or, maybe go to D.C. or Goat Hill sometime. That stuff does go on, but I think that's actually heavy-handed. Being overtly violent towards the populace or threatening these sorts of things, it's way too obvious and it costs too much for would-be authoritarians and tyrants. So Huxley had a different idea in Brave New World. The idea would be that you would engineer people at the genetic level. You would give them their place in society, part of the caste system. Are you an alpha? Are you an epsilon? What are you? Probably me. I'd be a beta. And then from there, once you are put on your path as a child, you're raised that everybody belongs to everybody. And, sex is something that should be introduced at a young age, at least learning about it. And, if you're having a little bit of anxiety about your role in society or the society, here, take some drugs, take some soma, take a little bit to boost your mood, take a little bit more to reduce the pain, take even more to just go to sleep. Huxley's vision of the future, I think, is much more germane to the time we live in. And there's an old interview with Aldous Huxley and Chris Wallace's father, Mike Wallace. And Mike puts to him, how do these propaganda methods work? And Huxley said they figured out how to, bypass the rational mind, bypass the conscious thinking person, and get down into the emotional drives and instincts and temperament of people and manipulate you that way. And now it's not just a one-off politician who has a silver tongue. It is an entire apparatus of information technology that is constantly pretending like they're actually having literal arguments, but they are, at the end of the day, manipulating people emotionally. Is that not the world we live in today, folks? It seems like it to me. 272-9228. And in a second, when we come back from this break, I'm going to go to Hakeem Jeffries, who Hakeem did not take kindly to RFK Jr. being invited to that hearing yesterday. So we'll listen in to what the leader of the Democrats in the House has to say. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. This part of News and Views brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. Well, they can help you men out, especially if you're suffering from the symptoms of low T. That can be feeling tired all day physically, but also listless, like you don't have much mental motivation. You don't really have much drive at all, including a low libido, so no sex drive to speak of. Maybe you're going to the gym all the time, but you're not seeing any gains. You're like, what is this? You're even getting thicker around the middle. You're not sleeping well. Well, it could be low testosterone. So for only $99 in about an hour, you can know your testosterone numbers. And well, if you do have low T, and there's nothing to be ashamed about, a lot of men are actually suffering from this and don't know it. They have treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change your life. Most men experience higher energy after these treatments, better gains in the gym, brother, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns. You might even notice an increased sex drive, which is pretty awesome. So call up Montgomery Men's Health today, 440-3663. Call them there and make an appointment, 440-3663, or go to montgomerymenshealth.com and be sure to tell them you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. More News and Views, well, after this.
Joey Clark.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Is your cell phone or iPad cracked, broken, or not working right? Don't let the big carrier stores sucker you into a new $1,100 device. Let XI Repair fix your device today. XI Repair fixes cell phones, computers, laptops, iPads, game consoles, drones, and more. Their certified technicians fix hundreds of devices every day. When your device needs care, call XI Repair, 334-777-1234, or Google XI Repair.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
This is Frank Bertorelli. We'd like to take time out to thank Blue Water Broadcasting for their years of help in growing our business. Over 25 years with Zap Pest Control and still growing thanks to Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. We have an excessive heat warning today with a potential heat index perhaps in the 110 to 112 range. High temperature up to about 99. Scattered random storms, especially this afternoon and this evening, and some of those could be strong, possibly severe. Big heat produces big storms. Tonight's low 76. Tomorrow, scattered to numerous storms just about any time, but especially in the afternoon and evening hours. Temperatures will be a little bit more reasonable over the weekend with highs in the lower 90s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. Flying solo here for a little longer on the show. And now, as promised, I want to go to Hakeem Jeffries. He is, of course, the minority leader within the House of Representatives at the federal level. And, Hakeem is asked about RFK Jr., and he waxes poetically here, folks. Let's listen in together.
I mean, the Republican hearings that have unfolded over the last few days and throughout this entire Congress are a malignant clown show that are not designed to address issues that impact the health, the safety, and the economic well-being of the American people, but instead peddle outlandish and out-of-control conspiracy theories. The notion that Republicans would give a congressional platform to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who peddles anti-Semitic tropes and baseless xenophobic conspiracy theories, which together are directed at the Jewish community, and the Chinese American community is unbelievable, which is why you can't take my Republican colleagues seriously.
Okay, I got to pause it there because we'll keep going. But I am so tired of you folks slandering people just right out the gate. And I'm so tired of people buying it. You can't actually rebut RFK Jr. on what he's saying, so you just call him all sorts of names. And if you want to look out for the economic and health and well-being and opportunity of the American people, I think you need to regain trust in all these institutions that you defend to the hilt with all your defamations and your crap. Let's continue on.
When they tell you that they believe in tolerance, why would you give Robert F. Kennedy Jr. a congressional platform to spew his hatred?
Because you censored him. And your lackeys in the corporate media and big tech censor him. And they censor all sorts of folks. Not even when it's just wrong, which you have a right to say things that are wrong in this country. That's what the freedom of speech does. But even when you say things that are true but inconvenient.
Here's the answer. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a living, breathing, false flag operation. His whole campaign is being run by right-wing political operatives who have one objective: try to take down President Joe Biden. That's why Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
No, it's more than just frickin' Joe Biden. Keep going.
Was given a congressional platform on this week of all weeks because my extreme MAGA Republican colleagues are really not interested in doing anything meaningful to improve the economy, address inflation, create jobs, or deal with public safety concerns, particularly around the gun violence epidemic that are afflicting the American people.
Thank God there are beautiful things in this world. Thank God there are humorous things in this world. Thank God there are kitten videos. Because if there weren't those small, little, beautiful things in this world, we should just let the nukes fly. It's not just Hakeem. It's all these ass clowns up there in Washington, D.C., Republicans and Democrats both, that can't seem to lead squat. All they can do is insult one another. I hope people who have listened to this show, I try to bring on folks if we do have an interview, and if it's a guest, it's a guest. But you can't do that in politics in Washington, D.C., apparently. You can't do that at all. You have to play to the lowest common denominator. You have to play to the dumbest prejudice and petty crap of the average dumb American in order to win more power and not actually solve a problem. And this is where it's going to go. If you continue to censor people, if you continue to defame and smear people, you're going to drive more division. And you're going to get hell in this country. And I don't want to be a part of it. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's Chris. I personally, I cannot
You're
wait.
all full of
and I will gladly do it. Because when I vote in that primary for RFK Jr., I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get that pen and fill in that circle with his name and stick it in the eye of every Democrat and Republican known to man. Because the clear and present danger is Joe Biden and people like Congressman Jeffries, who spouts this crap off. And, you know, they're too, like you said, they're too stupid to debate RFK at the merits. They go out and they call him anti-Semite and a racist and everything else. That is the outlandish stuff someone with no ability to debate the issue at hand will do. They just start calling names. It's pathetic. You know, and people that follow the Democrat Party should be ashamed of themselves, because this is what your Democratic Party is today. And actually politics in general.
Yep.
And I think people are sick and tired of it.
Yeah, include the
Guess
Republicans. Definitely include
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. Look where we are as a country. We're killing each other. We're at each other's throat. We're targeting children from this perversion, and it's okay. I mean, this is not the world that I grew up in. This is Alex Huxley's dystopian world he talked about. I mean, we are living it today. And technology and these dopes like Mark Zuckerberg are giving these people power to control everybody's mind. I mean, people, we got to shut it off at this point. I mean, this guy right here, he's the clown.
And
He's just talking about himself.
Honestly, at the end of the day, this is exactly how you got Trump. Because Trump's not Mr. Eloquent, I'm going to have a reasonable, rational conversation. Trump is a heat-seeking missile of political incorrectness and insults and just giving people crap that he does not respect and a lot of people don't respect. And the reason he got the traction he did in 2015 and 2016 is because these folks have been doing this forever and acting like they're so polite and better than everyone else, leading the nation. And Trump called them out on their BS. And they just double down, though. They're just going to double down.
Yeah. Well, if you got to censor somebody just based on malinformation, then the information probably isn't mal. It's probably correct, and they just don't want you to know the truth. And that's the scariest part about it. I mean, the truth is slowly coming out, and with the stuff with Joe Biden and his perversion and his just odd behavior that these people are trying to defend, I mean, it's all coming out. And the sick family that he's a part of, I mean, just the weirdness. I mean, this is not our country. This is not the people I know every day. They're not okay with this. And I hope to God people finally figure it out, because if we don't do something soon and have somebody that can unite us as a country, we're going to be broken apart just like during the 1860s.
Oh, good riddance.
It's going to be a good thing for the world, too, because our weakness all over the world is giving us see all over the world right now, just complete chaos.
Right. And as I said yesterday, my hope is that RFK Jr. will pull out that voter who hasn't voted in 10, 20, 30 years. And how Trump did the same thing. That I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but my hope is that the political class really underestimate the contempt that your average American has, not for Republicans or not for Democrats, but for the whole damn process. And if they finally find a champion that can help them direct their contempt some big change, I think they'll show up at the polls.
I hope so. But like I said, I can't wait to vote in that Democrat primary. It's going to be my pleasure to do it, to stop this madness going on in this country. And if we had, which I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be great, a Trump RFK debate. Maybe the issues will actually be talked about. I don't think he would smear the guy. I really think he has some. I think he understands where he's coming from. RFK is a true liberal in the classic sense of the word. These people now walking around saying they're liberals, they're nothing but a bunch of psychopaths, actually, wanting to destroy any type of idea that you can have a debate about facts. And they're unwilling to do it. And then they call you names and anti-Semite and all this kind of stuff. So,
yeah. Well,
that being said, it's Friday, Joey.
Yeah. You still believe in marriage?
I do.
Wait, are you happily married?
I am.
Oh. Damn, you're lucky
17 years, man.
Now, that's awesome. We've got a study coming up. 2 out of 5 young adults in America say, it no longer matters. Why even go through that?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, as expensive as kids are when they're growing up and you see them do well at something or just being your child, it's worth every penny and every moment. And that's one thing I think we've kind of disconnected young people from. Is that's what's, unfortunately for some people, they don't see it as their job to have a child and have a family and make the world a better place. But that is part of it. And to raise children that, are good people in society and, take care of folks. And we need children because they can have to take care of me. They got to pay into Social Security.
Right. Yeah, at the end of the day, I just let it out. I'll put it that way.
Well,
like, it's enough to make you want to nuke the world, how angry these folks make me.
Yeah, well, after all this, the hearings this week, man, I mean, it's just like, how blind do you have to be what's going on in the world, you know?
Right.
And,
well, when truth becomes secondary to winning votes, and that's what it is. That's our system today. Why are people don't care about the truth? Because it doesn't matter. It's about who can you convince to bubble in your name. And most people actually don't like the truth. They find it indiscernible from a headache.
Well, if they don't win it, based on that, they steal it.
Right. Well, and it's usually the folks that are constantly talking about how much I tell the truth. I tell the truth all the time, Chris, don't you know? It's just straight the fire of truth all the time. That's probably somebody who is lying all the time if they're bragging about it.
That's right.
I have all the answers. You are not God. You're not God. Like, you don't have all the answers. In fact, this is why we have, political conversations, you would think, to actually figure out what's right. But everybody comes to the table like, I already got it figured out. And screw you, you're just the bad person if you disagree.
That's right. That's the world we are. The days of going up to D.C. and having a frank and honest conversation about policy is over with.
Right. And well, and all these, the folks like, we got to do something about it. I would rather suffer an injustice than commit one, honestly. I think that's actually what they're going for. Kick the dog, kick the dog, kick the dog. The dog finally, it's a good dog, but the dog finally bites after you kick it 10 or 12 times. And then you go, it's biting, it's a mad dog, shoot him.
Shoot it, put it down.
Don't fall for it, folks.
Nope. That's exactly what they're trying to do, especially with this Trump stuff.
Yep.
But it'll all work out, Joey.
Or it won't. I appreciate it, Chris.
That's your libertarian mindset.
I think that goes deeper than politics, kind sir.
All right. Well, hey, have a good weekend, buddy.
You too. 272-9228. How about this? Let's hit our top of the hour break, and I'll try to regain my composure, though no promises. And if you're going to report me to, the FBI or the SPLC, I'm probably already reported. And I think you can suspect what I think of them. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A woman and 3 children found dead in an Oklahoma home in what may be a murder-suicide. It happened Thursday in Verdigris, an East Tulsa suburb. Police say a 13-year-old girl kidnapped in Texas was rescued in Southern California when a passerby saw her hold up a "Help Me" sign in a parked car. Singer Tony Bennett, with such hits as "I Left My Heart" in San Francisco, has died at 96. Some believe that a swift release from North Korea is not in the cards for Private Travis King, as Pyongyang might try to use him as a bargaining chip to wrest concessions from Washington. And Wall Street stocks have now moved higher. The Dow ahead 85 points, the Nasdaq up 36, and the S&P adding 16. This is SRN News.
The recent bank failures are serving as a warning about how fragile our banking system really is. As millions of Americans panic, do you know what central banks are doing? Well, they're actually buying up gold at record levels. They're relying on it as a safe haven during these difficult times. That's how confident they are in the dollar. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian author and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. We're all Americans who want to protect our family's savings no matter what. I tell people the best option is to diversify their 401k or IRA into physical gold or silver with the help of Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, just text the word FAITH to the number 989898 to get a free information kit on gold IRAs. Look, there's no strings attached. It's not going to hurt you to take action now. So take the first step today and educate yourself. Get your free info kit when you text FAITH to 989898 right now. And I pray you and your family are greatly blessed.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. We have an excessive heat warning today with a potential heat index perhaps in the 110 to 112 range. High temperature up to about 99. Scattered random storms, especially this afternoon and this evening, and some of those could be strong, possibly severe. Big heat produces big storms. Tonight's low 76. Tomorrow, scattered to numerous storms just about any time, but especially in the afternoon and evening hours. Temperatures will be a little bit more reasonable over the weekend with highs in the lower 90s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At ASE Credit Union, financing your next adventure is easier than ever with rates as low as 5.25%. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
From WAKA Channel 8 News, I'm Jerome Jones. Alabama is holding its 18th annual back-to-school sales tax holiday weekend. Starting Friday, July 21st through Sunday, July 23rd, the state is waiving its 4% sales tax on school-related supplies, computers, and clothing. More than 300 cities and counties are also waiving their local taxes. To find out more, visit this story on our website, WAKA.com. Today is the court deadline, and Alabama lawmakers were still divided Thursday over a map designating new congressional districts and sparred over what constituents say an opportunity district is that the state was ordered to create for black voters. State Republicans have been reluctant to create a Democratic-leaning district and are taking a high-stakes wager that the court will accept their proposal. Those are your news headlines. I'm Jerome Jones. Watch WAKA Channel 8 News.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
Hey guys, are you looking for a professional and reliable tree service company in the Montgomery and surrounding areas? Well, check out the folks at Tree Masters. It's a name you know and trust. From pruning to full tree removal, they'll even help you remove your shrubs. They service all of central Alabama, including Lake Martin and Lake Jordan. Call them for a free quote today at 334-676-3638. That's 334-676-3638. Tree Masters.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks. I'm sorry for giving those, getting so angry that I was giving those, like, daddy hit mommy at the dinner table vibes. I don't need that out there pushing that on folks. But here's the good news, people. My friends are here. Brian Dawson.
How's it going, Joey?
I feel a little embarrassed getting so upset. Jonathan Strange, how you doing?
How are you doing?
Again, embarrassed.
Yeah, there's only a few thousand people listening. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, well, here's actually where my mind has been a lot. When I have to constantly look at the political news cycle, well, I'll look at Twitter before I have my caffeine. And I'll look at, like, right wing, left wing, everybody going at each other. I look at what the Democrat leaders are saying, the Republican leaders are saying. I look at this impending, war just dragging out there in Ukraine, now threats between Poland and Russia being thrown back and forth, and worry about the Chinese spy under your bed. And I see all the nonsense, and part of me wants to go, just nuke it. Giant meteor 2024. I've been going for it since 2016. We need a giant meteor. Let me calm down. But giant meteor 2024. How about it, gentlemen? But then I realize, what keeps people from nuking the world? Because I'm sure I'm not the only one who has that anger. And as I said in the middle of my rant, at least I was prescient enough to say it, I think it is the small, beautiful things in this world that actually keep people from destroying it. When you're reminded of beautiful things, true things, and good things, because you can go through that cesspool of Twitter and all of a sudden you see, like, a little puppy dog chasing its own tail, and you're like, all right, I'm not going to nuke anybody today.
Our RFK's speech yesterday.
Oh, it was fantastic. Well, that's what set me off. I played that, and then I was like, I hadn't heard this yet, folks. Let's play Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat leader in the Congress. Yeah, and his response is, why would they platform a conspiracy theorist who's an anti-Semite and
After
trading?
that speech, he said.
So thus, and I'm cooled down now. I was shaking mad. I'll put it that way.
Well, and that's all they have left is to be able to label you the things. And that's why I told you my new strategy is just to lean into the mic and say, correct.
Right.
Right. You want to burn the books at the libraries with all the, grooming material? You want to burn the books?
Did anybody watch the
Correct.
Harvey Weinstein PBD podcast?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
You
wait,
guys-
not Weinstein. Anthony Weiner.
I mean, yeah, not Weinstein. Goodness, that
If
would
he had had
great.
Harvey.
That would have been great.
Weiner, Steiner,
yeah.
Steiner.
Wrong guy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that
They're all
was-
kind of pedophiles in my mind.
So many pedophiles.
I don't have it pulled up, but Brian, did you see this thing that happened yesterday on Patrick Bet-David's podcast?
100% chance I did not.
Okay.
It got pretty heated.
So Anthony Weiner was a guest. And it goes fine for most of the interview. And then Bet David's like, I'm just asking, man. Like, why is it that so many people that were close to the Clintons, and he pulls up this list, have ended up dead? And again, Anthony Weiner is the now just infamous, the fact that his name is Weiner, and then he's got
It's got
pictures
sense
of his
of
junk
humor.
online, and that's
Yeah.
what made him fall from grace. Like, that's just amazing. But he got angry, right? Like, he just animated at Patrick Bet-David. It's almost like, and they speculated on it later, it's like the Clintons have something on him.
Well, there's a laptop, I've heard.
Yeah, there's a few things out there. Well, and I think folks are just so, naive of how the backside, the back end of politics works, the behind the curtain aspect of it. Like, how do you rise to the top? Sadly, it usually is you collect information on people and you use it as blackmail. You get leverage. And there's so much of that crap going on in that world. And people who act like, well, no, but politicians, they wouldn't murder people, would they?
Yeah, and it's the whole thing. Again, everyone's thinking like I'm this huge Andrew Tate fan or something. We should probably talk about that later. But he makes a point. He's like, if there was $10,000 on the line on a basketball game, like, would you cheat a little bit to probably win that $10,000? Yeah, I mean, I might throw a couple elbows. I might try, I would probably break some rules to win that $10,000. He goes, okay, well, we're talking about all the power in the world now.
Right.
And you think these people wouldn't cheat? You think they wouldn't kill people? You think they wouldn't?
They'll upend entire nations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have no problem with it, no scruples about it, because it's a practical necessity. And government is a necessary evil. But that's how I think what keeps sneaking through the door. It's necessary, so it excuses me to do evil things.
The end justifies the means.
They keep expanding the definition of necessary.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can all think of pretty extreme situations where you kind of have to do what you got to do. But when everything's a crisis and war footing, well, kiss your liberties goodbye. And that's very much what RFK Jr.'s speech was about yesterday. And since Jonathan is here, I have to ask about news that also broke this week, I believe on Tuesday night, that RFK Jr. wants to remove capital gains taxes off of Bitcoin, any Bitcoin to USD transfers. And then I think he also wants to partially back any new U.S. government debt issuance with Bitcoin as well.
Big news. I mean, just the fact that somebody in his position, whether this happens or not, has that opinion, it's forcing the conversation of, should we have a fixed currency? Like, should there be a set amount of, because if you back it by Bitcoin, you're essentially, you can't just infinitely print it.
Right.
That's what would happen, right? There's a fixed amount of supply. We go from an inflationary currency to a deflationary currency, which is really what you want in a good and healthy good and healthy economy.
Amen. And
so it's big news.
It would make say those bonds they issue even more valuable, because they couldn't just do that. What is the maturity thing they do? Where we got to pay off these, so we'll issue more to make up the ones that are rolling off, and it's really I've got a story on it and a clip.
I wish I could do that as a business owner with my lines of credit.
100%. Yeah.
We're gonna issue new stock, and we're gonna, we'll take care of that.
Yep.
Give us twice the loans.
Well, and I've got a Peter St. Onge video where he was documented the inversion of the yield curve in the bond market is often a sign, ooh, that's a red light, the economy could crash. And he mapped it out over, say, the 20th century into the 21st. And the last time the inversion was this large, this big, it was right before the Great Depression. Did I mention that Russia and Poland are now, saber rattling?
Old things are new.
Yeah, we're on the brink of thermonuclear war.
I think some of the things that economists are not even taking into consideration today is I saw that there's a plant in Arizona that TSMC, which is the Taiwanese chip manufacturer, they've actually paused. They're not currently building that plant, which is going to be the biggest one in America. And if you read into the article why, it's not because of funding. It's not because of the lack of government subsidies. They have all this. It's the lack of manpower. There are literally not enough working Americans that know how to just put up the type of construction that's needed for these places. The Taiwanese were already bringing in their specialized skill. We're talking about painters and welders and
that's the thing. So you get into education in Alabama, and again, obviously that's where I'm centrally focused. You guys are talking about all the global stuff, and my eyes start to spin just because it's not my area of focus. So I have been keeping up more than usual. Why does it matter that we have education freedom in Alabama or some type of competition? So we have a prepared workforce. There's things that need to be done, and right now it's a wasteland. And so if you're a business owner in Alabama right now, if you have a company that hires, you have 100 employees or something, where are you going to get them? People aren't going to move to Alabama to work at your business,
Right.
And economic incentives is kind of the holy sacrament of Alabama government, and that's where we go in and offer all these tax breaks for corporations to move their company here. Well, if that's really what we're trying to do, is to get to incentivize or look like an attractive place to move a corporation to, don't you want an educated populace? Not only the people who are going to work there, if they're going to come work there, they want to have a place where their children can be educated, but also you need to be able to show that there's enough talented, educated people that can come and then work at that corporation that headquarters here, right? And so it matters so much more than just the fact that you look at the state of education and everything else. It's bigger than just learning how to read. Right.
And we still got problems with that too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just crazy. But did you see, and you probably already talked about this, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, Kay Ivey came out full guns blazing with ESAs.
Yeah, I saw it. I haven't talked about it yet, but that was a big announcement she made. She said, I'm going to veto any change to the Literacy Act that we did in 19. We're not going to put kids forward to the next grade if they can't read beyond their grade level.
Well, and it's so she's literally been in a cave for months, okay? No public appearances. LDOT directors threatening to shoot people after doing a vendetta, building a $120 million bridge to put the Baldwin County Bridge Company out of business because he was pissed at them. Literally, these departments are running rogue, nowhere to be seen, and then all of a sudden she comes out of nowhere, and she's like, school choice. for everybody. We're going to read. And it's like, what happened? I have no idea what happened, but I'm kind of wanting to thank God for it.
Yeah,
like,
that's great.
This is wonderful, right? And
actually,
so,
I snuck over and handed Missy treats.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Missy, why are you off for school? You're my top advisor, so get out from under my feet. Don't trip over you up my shoulder
I think
again.
Brad's onto something, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're not really saying it, but indirectly, what, in my opinion, what you're hinting at is I brought up the fact that we don't have enough of these plumbers and contractors and service-based businesses. But with school choice, just having local communities say, like, this is what our local community needs. This is what kids in our community should at least be taught at the minimum, and getting that decision as close back to the parents as possible is huge for our state.
Yeah, and your 16-year-old son who has no interest in going into academia or higher education, well, now you have funds to send him to vocational training and give him HVAC training.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, the freedom, again, everything is about freedom. We use that word. It's like such an overused word, but it really is. When things begin to free up and cash flows where competition exists, right, and the people who are doing it the best, that's where the money's going to go. The schools are going to have to compete for those dollars, so the public education system is going to rise.
100%.
But then you're also going to have these alternative schools and these other things that are going to specialize in certain things to prepare for what the actual needs are.
Right. And we need more of that. And I actually think it's just a sense, and maybe a few off-the-record things I've learned in the past few days. I almost could it be the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room in Alabama politics? Not Bulchin Bingham, not Alabama Power, not Drummond or all that.
Those are the 2,000-pound gorillas.
Yeah, they're really big. But the AEA, I wonder if the AEA is actually the local folks are changing their tune, realizing, hey, we can still make a lot for us and the teachers with that school choice.
No, there's no way that didn't happen. There's some other stuff I can't talk about that's happened recently, but there's a shift, and we know that there's huge political winds shifting. And I posted on Twitter a couple days ago. It's like it's mind-boggling that we have a Republican supermajority that could score massive political points that would keep them in office forever by just doing this simple little thing for the people, and everyone would win. Well, what about the teachers? The teachers are going to get paid more at these new schools because the bureaucratic redundancy and superintendents are going to be gobbling up all the money. That money's going to be freed up to go to actual educators who are talented.
Right. Right.
And our school systems are naturally going to get better because now there's a competition.
That's it. And that's the key. And all of a sudden, it's not going to matter the urge to teach children about gender dysphoria is going to like evaporate.
Right.
Because they're like, oh gosh, we have to compete for dollars. Back to reading. As they say in Alabama, the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic.
Well, let's go to line one. Whoever this has been very patient. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is East of the Rockies. How you doing?
If you've been listening,
I have, and I was going to call and see if you wanted me to bring you a Snickers bar, because it sounded like you were turning into Danny DeVito over there, man.
Or I was about to go all Pesci on some folks, actually.
Pesci, there it is. Yeah,
Pesci, DeVito, Weinstein, Wiener. I mean,
that's right. That's right. Yeah. But
Hold on, Brian, say Wiener one more time.
Wiener.
I'll be jamming.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. But listen, I've got to tell you that this lineup that you've got this afternoon is totally listenable, man. I love it, and I can't get enough of this. I just want to ask Brian, when are you going statewide?
When am I going statewide on which thing?
No, I'm talking
my own
about,
radio show.
I'm talking about Joey Clark.
Ah.
Your time, I like having you all over the place anyway, you know.
Yes.
Well, we are streaming now. Just started that this week, and it's still work in progress, but I'm enjoying doing it. And, I might have thought about how can I not move from Montgomery but expand throughout the state. I might have thought about that before.
Those conversations may have been being had.
And, after rants like I went on in the first hour, the people of Huntsville are going to love me.
Well, yeah, and look, I want to share you with the rest of the state. I just don't want you to leave Blue Water, okay? So just with that caveat, I'm going to leave you and wish you guys a happy weekend, and we'll look forward to listening to you next week.
Appreciate it, East.
Thanks.
272-9228. And it just hit me, and this is, squirrel. I'm all over the place today. But I think the reason, as I'm sitting here talking to you, it hit me. Like, we're talking about issues. And like we've said all sorts of things about Kay Ivey, but if somebody changes on the issue, the actual content we care about, we're like, great.
100%. It's not personality,
awesome.
it's policy.
Exactly. It's not it's not even party. It's not your different little clique within the party. It's about what are we actually going towards.
And I was extremely critical of Ainsworth for a very long time. I believe that he probably should have ran for governor. I think he should have challenged her. I think that would have been the right way to do it. I was very critical of him. But then all of a sudden he came out of nowhere and is pushing for tax cuts and is pushing for ESAs and is pushing for all this really good stuff and is like pushing far right, which means Republican Party platform, right? Crazy.
Right.
But all of a sudden started actually pushing things to the right and getting the senators to actually start going right. And it's like, fantastic.
Yeah. No, this is a good
sins
thing.
are forgiven. And do what you're supposed to do.
And then I think what drives me nuts is like I listened a lot to RFK Jr. recently and what he did yesterday. I listened to a lot lately of Vivek Ramaswamy and how he talks. And like it's usually, even like in a hostile environment, they usually keep their cool. They try to stick to the facts and have a conversation about actual content. And so I will watch a bunch of stuff like that. Those are just two examples. And I'm like, man, there is hope for this world. The politics is changing for the better. And then I turn on like the leader of the Democrats or the Republicans. I'm like, who are these aliens running this country? You don't even you're different types of people, man. Like, what is all this sloganeering?
But what it is it's like a drowning person starts to grab onto things and then they end up causing other people to drown, or like an animal that's backed into a corner just like starts clawing and screaming. And so what's happening, and I can't remember if it was your show or where I said this recently. No, I think it might have just been me and you talking.
Right.
In fifth gen warfare, the movement of information is tantamount to the movement of troops in traditional warfare. Traditional warfare, you're talking third gen, very kinetic, what we talk about with what's going on in Iraq or whatever, troops moving here and there. And so there would be like a river. If those guys get across the river, we're screwed. If they take the hill, we're screwed. So it's geographical, it's troops, it's moving. In fifth gen warfare, it's about information. It's about controlling narratives. It really is a form of mind control, right? What has happened with Elon buying Twitter, Tucker leaving Fox, Joe Rogan and Spotify allowing Joe Rogan to do what he's doing, we have seen basically storming the beaches of Normandy in fifth gen warfare. Wholesale, like RFK getting 3 hours to say the most censored men in the world. The three most censored men in the world, Robert Malone, RFK, and Andrew Tate, have now all gotten, again, who cares what you think about these people? The fact is their message is no longer being censored, and they got full... This is no more, taking clips and saying they said this or whatever. It's just their whole message, take it or leave it, hate them, don't, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the fact that these people who are so censored, and they all have a message that keeps the people in power, like, it's anti that, right? If you listen to what they're saying and you do the things that they're saying to do, there's one group that suffers, and it's globo homo. It's the big, elite ruling class. And that's why that information was being literally censored, is because they know if this gets out, we're screwed.
Right.
Well, they're screwed.
Well, and I was having a conversation, and we got to hit a break here in a second, but with Rick, boss. And, I don't know if to talk about Rick on the air, and I'm not just brown-nosing here, folks. You can believe that if you want. But I remember, especially talking to him, like how much work he did within radio there in the 90s and what he was able to pull off, the whole Southern Star thing, all that stuff going on. So he knows that more traditional media space, even though talk radio then were the rebels still.
Yeah.
But he knows the kind of the traditional media incredibly well. And he was saying to me that I think, Joey, that the traditional, prestige networks still have that fire hose of information that you could just spray on people. You can change a narrative in 24 hours. Whereas the podcasts still seem to me like they're more a garden hose, where it gets out there, it soaks the ground. And I was like, you might be right, but I tend to think new media has their own fire hoses now, especially when you have Rogan. Like, how many more people do you think watch the first hour of RFK Jr. on Rogan than they did watch, Hakeem Jeffries or any Democrat on that committee saying something nasty about him? And so,
and the when you have Rogan saying it, you've got center left, center right. That's who listens to Rogan. The only people not listening are far left.
Or old people.
Yeah. Everyone else is boomers. Turn on Fox.
Right. Hey, and by the way, boomers, if you're getting insulted, I'm not saying that when millennials take over, it's actually going to get better. We could screw it up too.
Yeah, we're just pointing out differences.
But you're the ones who screwed it up now, so
And turn
we're
on
going
Joe
to point
Rogan.
at you.
Turn on Joe Rogan, boomers.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Prattville Carpet. Ray Bowles, usually talk to him at the end of the show, but he's on vacation this week. So at Prattville Carpet, of course, they have carpet, that Smart Strand carpet, a really beautiful product. They have it all sorts of different patterns and colors, but they also, with Smart Strand, you got kids, you got pets, all those spills, all the stuff that happens, that carpet's going to hold up. Incredibly high-quality product there. And, of course, they can resurface with traditional hardwood, laminate products, luxury vinyl plank. That's what I've got in my place. And it looks like traditional hardwood, but it's more forgiving if you do spill something, or literally softer, like when you walk on it. And, of course, they can also do ceramic tile. Maybe you want to resurface the bathroom or kitchen counter or backsplash. They can do that for you there at Prattville Carpet. So call them up today at 285-8117. Ask about a free in-home measurement, free in-home consultation. They'll literally go the extra mile to make sure you're happy, folks. And be sure to tell the fine folks there at Prattville Carpet that, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. We'll be right back after this.
Coming or going. But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. If you've ever considered owning rental property, this information is for you. For years, I've been finding attractive investment homes for real estate investors to buy with the intention of renting the property for many years to come. Owning rental property and letting tenants pay the expenses of owning through rental payments to a management company such as ours is what we do very well. We have successfully managed thousands of homes for property owners over the years. Our typical tenant stays 3 to 5 years or longer in the same property, and some have stayed over a decade in the same home. During this time, the landlord is building equity and wealth and is providing reasonably priced homes that are well cared for and provided needed shelter and homes to good people. Loyal clients and wonderful tenants that know how to take care of the property, both inside and out, helps everyone. For a complete packet of what we do, please call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883. That's 221-2883.
Sweetheart?
Yeah?
I've been thinking, I'm tired of this house.
What? You want to move?
Yeah, but we'd have to do some updating, to get top dollar.
Updating really does make a lot of sense, especially when you're talking about lighting. That's where Crosby Electric comes in. They'll help you choose a stunning pendant fixture over your bathroom sink, dramatic flush mount lighting over your kitchen island, maybe some LED panels to backlight your countertops. Energy-saving LED lighting has really come down in price. Or how about a new ceiling fan that moves air more efficiently than fans built only 10 years ago? The bottom line, updating your lighting almost always delivers a full return on your investment.
Well, sweetheart, the house looks fabulous.
Yeah.
Guess I'll put out the for sale sign.
Wait.
What?
I don't want to move.
Find out how to turn your house into the home you'll never want to leave. Visit crosbyelectric.com or call 272-2085.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over here.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks, to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark, and also joining me in the studio, we have Jonathan Strange, as well as Brian Dawson of 1819 News. And I'm still testing out the live stream, trying to figure out how to get y'all both in a shot with me, but we'll figure that out a little bit.
I can crawl over into his lap if you'd like.
No, it's all right. But let's go to the phones and talk to Debbie. I don't want to see that. Don't do that.
Hi. I am so happy to hear you're trying to expand. That is wonderful. I always knew, Joey.
And promote myself more on the radio.
I'm telling you, isn't that awesome? I love it. Well, listen, you were talking about something I have thought on quite a bit, about the newer, or younger, I should say, generations, and the media tells a lot. So you watch the TV, and they say reality shows. You watch those reality shows, and they're not reality. They're somebody else's reality, but they are not mine. And it's really interesting to see how everybody wants to watch it. I mean, is that the new thing now, to watch something that's called reality that really isn't?
Unless it's Duck Dynasty.
Right, that's definitely...
Then that's real.
They don't make up anything on that show.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. But anyway, I have been more concerned over energy. And the reason why I was in a seminar, not doing, and they had a man from Windbridge Institute, and they were doing a lot of experimentation on sound frequency. So you had these little earmuffs, and you put them on, and they would throw one sound in one ear, vibration in one in the other ear, and ask you how you felt. They do affect you. And they said that they were able to use these frequencies to alter people's brainwaves, basically, which is really interesting to me, because what are we putting everywhere? Real low, so it's right at our level, but 5G. All over the place. We're supposed to have them in the country. Everywhere. So they'll affect everybody. All over the world they're trying to do this. I'm just concerned that they're going to use these energy frequencies to make us angry, frustrated, want to kill each other, or passive, relaxed, calm, even when they're doing no-nos to us. It just makes me wonder how far it's going to go.
Well,
Now,
and
I'm
even
gonna leave it at that.
it may not even need to be like some contrived plan or conspiracy, though. I don't rule that out. I was saying it the other day. I think, modern man, especially in this age, Now in the information age, we think, well, we've pretty much conquered nature. Like, we can manipulate it, we can change things at the DNA level, and they're doing all sorts of crazy stuff. But I have a feeling, what's the Jurassic Park, Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah.
Nature finds a way, or something like that. Yeah, I think nature tends to fight back. As soon as we start thinking we're gods, we're going to have a rude awakening that we are not.
Male testosterone rates isn't a testament to that. I mean,
right?
Mother Nature, in a way, is saying, "Look, you guys have procreated too much."
And I don't wallow in it because it's not healthy. But the brain cancer my mother suffered from, same one John McCain did, same one Beau Biden did, that has increased several fold over the last few decades. All sorts of other types of cancers, all sorts of autoimmune diseases, and you're like, why is that happening? And it could be diet, it could be electronics. It's stuff too that it doesn't show up in a few years. It's more like exposure over 10, 20, 30 years.
I had heard a man who had worked undercover for many years, and he was coming out kind of like a little bit of a whistleblower, saying that they have the technology to basically send, and he was calling it microwave, into your phone, and it would give you cancer. And so maybe there is something to that. I mean, sounded convincing, but where's the proof? And if there is the proof, will it ever get to us before that person disappears? Probably not. But anyway, I'm going to get off the conspiracy theories, but I do agree with you that this last couple of generations have been very, very different in thinking and how they feel about things, and it's not something I recognize as to why it's like that. Even my own grandchildren, I often wonder, they're just complacent. It's almost like we've just trained them that they can't fight, that they have to just take it and suck it up and say, yes, ma'am, no, matter what it is that's thrown at them.
Yeah, where's the fortitude? Where's the courage? The forthrightness, these sorts of things. I appreciate it, Debbie. I got to run.
Thank you.
272-9228. I was actually having that discussion with my dad last night, of all folks, and I talking about if I had a kid sooner. My brother's, I'm about to be an uncle. The baby's due in October, and would you give a kid? It's not hypothetical for you. Are you going to give your kids smartphones and let them get on social media, Brian?
Well, I have a 13-year-old who does not have a cell phone, and then obviously everyone younger than that does not have a cell phone.
Right.
But everything is about the two pillars of parenting that I always talk about is preparation and protection. Okay, so you want to protect your children, but you want to protect them so much that they're in a bubble and they can't function. And so the earlier years are more about protection than preparation, but as they begin to turn 13 and they start to get into that, he's eventually going to have a cell phone, and so I want to help him learn how to use that in a responsible way. Help him understand the dangers of, having porn at your fingertips instantly and what that can do to you, and help him be on guard and be able to, communicate openly. And I know fathers who've done that well that I'm going to have to learn from. But yeah, absolutely not. Especially the social media stuff and just the dopamine. The little orange button of someone did something on your Facebook. They like this, they like that, and at a young age, you're so impressionable. I mean, I couldn't imagine if I had this device when I was 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah, you might end up like one of those cat girls. It's like feed me digital food. I'm like, what? That's one of those things I saw. I'm like, this doesn't. Demonic wasn't the word. It was like inhuman. And like this. Why is a person acting this way? Who's engaging on both ends of this thing?
Yeah.
There are a lot of systems like that.
There's a percentage of the population, particularly of my generation, Gen Z, that is so wrapped up in the digital world that I feel like they operate better in that. I mean, I have friends, quite frankly, from high school that would prefer to meet in a game than to meet in real life. And I think that it expands all the way to things like their sex life and sex preferences, and that's why I think you're seeing things like that. You'd rather see a woman that's going meow 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 than an actual real woman across at a dinner table.
Right, actually having a conversation and building hearth and home, so to speak.
And it's worse in Asian communities like Korea, Japan, China. Way worse. Way worse.
Yeah.
Well, we got to hit this break. I'll come back to the calls and more of the conversation here in a moment. But first, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And they're at River Region Contracting. Well, Todd Clark and his team can help you with that roof of yours, whether it's an asphalt or a metal roof. Maybe you just want to get it checked out. You hadn't had it inspected in a while. Well, guess what? That inspection's free. Maybe they do find a problem. Well, guess what? That estimate on the problem is free. And if you should have homeowners insurance, if they do find a problem, they're insurance specialists, so they can walk you through that claims process and make it a swift and easy process. You know, I've had, so many people. Jack Campbell had his whole roof redone, an asphalt roof. Eddie just recently had his whole metal roof redone. It could be a patch-up, or it could be just, hey, we're due. The house is 10, 15 years old. River Region Contracting can do all that. They show up on time, they get the job done right, and they don't leave a mess when they're done either. So call them up today, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. More News and Views after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Next contestant.
Honey, you look confused. What's wrong?
I'm having a hard time remembering to take my medications like I'm supposed to. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to worry you.
I'm glad you told me, because I heard that Adams Drugs has a medicine on time service that will package your monthly medications and make them easier to manage. Our neighbors, Bill and Leslie, mentioned the other day that they use Adams and how they have made it so easy for them to manage their medications.
Do you think we can call Adams Drugs or go by there and see if they can help me? I don't want to get to the point where you have to put me into an assisted living home.
Why don't you get your medications together right now, and let's go down to Adams and talk to the pharmacist.
How much does the medicine on time service cost?
I asked Bill that same question, and he told me it's a free service for Adams customers.
Free? Wow, I'm feeling really good about this already. Let me grab my meds list.
Call Adams Drugs Medicine on Time for your pharmacist consultation. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for more information on our Medicine on Time packaging service.
This is Evan Bass for Montgomery Men's Health, and I've been helping men with low testosterone issues for over a decade. I've seen firsthand how low testosterone sneaks up on you, often so slowly that you just get used to all the issues that come along with being low T. If you're experiencing a low sex drive, if your energy just isn't what it used to be, if you're gaining unwanted fat or have issues with muscle gain in the gym, you very well may have low testosterone. At Montgomery Men's Health, we've successfully treated many men for low T, and the results can be life-changing. Many of our patients start putting on muscle again when they work out. They find they have more energy, they sleep better, and their sex lives often improve as well. So make an appointment today and see if low T therapy can make the difference for you. Your first appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult with testosterone lab results in minutes. Call 334-440-3663. That's 334-440-3663, or go to montgomerymenshealth.com.
Picture this. A serene, tranquil resting place surrounded by nature's beauty. A place where memories are cherished and loved ones are forever remembered. We're talking about your final resting place, and it's never too early to start planning for it. Pineview Memorial Gardens in Wetumpka has been family owned and operated for over 55 years. We understand the importance of pre-need planning. You can make decisions that reflect your personal wishes. You can choose the perfect location, whether it's a serene garden, a peaceful mausoleum, or a place in our cremation wall. Pre-need planning alleviates the burden from your loved ones during a time of grief. By planning ahead, you can secure today's prices, protecting yourself and your family from future cost increases. So why wait? Contact Pineview Memorial Gardens in Wetumpka today. Your final resting place should be a reflection of your unique journey. Take control of your future and make pre-need planning a priority. Pineview Memorial Gardens in Wetumpka, where memories live on.
Hey, this is Benji with Marguerites. The great thing about gold and diamonds is that we can make a ring that you have wore for 20 years look like the day you bought it. For example, if you have a white gold ring or rings that you have worn for some years, you can take it to a jewelry store and they will charge $150 to $250 to re-rhodium, polish, and clean your rings to get that look. You ask, what is rhodium? Rhodium is a very expensive precious metal that jewelers use to coat white gold rings to make them extremely light, of course, to make them look brand new again. Marguerite's has decided to brighten your summer with the complimentary rhodium and polish of your rings. As of today, until August the 5th will be here before you know it. Bring in all your rings at Marguerite's. We will rhodium them at no charge whatsoever. So don't miss out on this great deal, because at Marguerite's, of course, we make it. We really make it. We're open 7 days a week for your convenience. For all your jewelry needs, we are located at 8163 Vaughn Road in the Preparatory Shopping Center. So come see us at Marguerite's. Let us make all your rings look like the day you bought them.
Visit Marguerite's now through August 5th for your complimentary rhodium and polish.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
Hi, everybody. We have an excessive heat warning today with a potential heat index perhaps in the 110 to 112 range. High temperature up to about 99. Scattered random storms, especially this afternoon and this evening, and some of those could be strong, possibly severe. Big heat produces big storms. Tonight's low 76. Tomorrow, scattered to numerous storms just about any time, but especially in the afternoon and evening hours. Temperatures will be a little bit more reasonable over the weekend with highs in the lower 90s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Jonathan Strange in the studio, as is Brian Dawson. And I apologize, gentlemen, I don't have a better camera shot. We're going to improve as time goes on, but we're making do. And I believe we have Big Will on line one. You're on there, sure?
Yeah, Big Willie, man, right here, man.
Big Willie style.
I'm overjoyed, man. I'm overjoyed. I'm a career broadcaster in radio and everything, but I've been listening to ACV ever since Don Markwell. But I think this is a gigantic step into the new thing. What you are doing, and I love it. I like it. You show visuals, and you have your people on the side, and I love that, man. That's all I wanted to say, man. Congratulations. And keep it up. I hear you saying that you're going to keep on improving and improving. I know that. This is Joey Clark, and I'm going to keep listening. I'm going to let you go now.
Appreciate it, Big Willie. Really do. Thank you, sir. And yeah, if y'all want to check out the live stream, it's available on my YouTube channel. Just search Joey Clark. Probably put in live. I don't have much traffic there, so it takes a second to find it in a search, but it's on my Facebook page, News Talk's Facebook page, as well as streamed live on my Twitter account. So you can get it wherever, whatever app you prefer. We're probably going to expand to Rumble and a few others when the time is right, and looking forward to doing just that. Let's go to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
How you doing?
Well, used to our parents back in the day, Joey, they'd say, look both ways before you cross the street. Now they say, look up from that dumb phone before you do anything. You wouldn't put a sign in front of your house that says, I've got a 10-year-old daughter in here and she's, free game. But when you give them that dumb phone and just let them go with it, that's exactly what you're doing. I mean, there's got to be some common sense. There's got to be some restrictions. And I mean, the number one vehicle for sex trafficking of children is that dumb phone.
Yep, and also the amount of folks that hop on, like, your PlayStation 5, Xbox, like, parties and stuff. Like, I mean, and it's usually fine. It's a whole group of people, but if your young kid's jumping on at, like, 2 in the morning, it's like, who are you playing with? Oh, some 35-year-old guy, and he, like, wants to hang out and meet in person. Like, what the? No.
He said he has candy.
Yeah, no. And what I hope is that folks, like, about my age, maybe a little younger, it'll be even better. We know we're aware of this stuff. And so you can, as a parent, you become even more vigilant and be able to check up on essentially digital hygiene going forward. It's kind of like, to use a non-digital example, if, say, my brother has a son, the baby's due in October, they're waiting to figure out what the gender is till the delivery day. And so say he has a son, and that son's like now 14, 15, and he's like, hey, kid, is this your uncle talking here? When you take that 35-minute shower, we all know what you're doing in there, all right? So don't do it too much, all right?
Hey, changing gears, did you hear what's going on in, not Montgomery, Alabama, but Montgomery, Maryland?
No.
With the school system up there? It's, they're trying to introduce the transgender material to small children. And so And they said, the people said, okay, y'all go ahead and do that, but let us opt out. Just let us sign something and we'll opt out. We don't want to be right on the parade. Go ahead and do your thing, but just let us opt out with our kids. Well, they said, oh, okay, we'll do that. That sounds good. Well, then they realized, all of them wanted to opt out. so then they said, no, that won't work. So then they came back and said, no, we're going with everybody. So now the Christians and the Muslims have got a large Muslim community there. And the Muslims are coming together, and the non-believers, they're coming together to fight the school board.
And isn't it amazing that the white supremacist movement is more and more looking like the Rainbow Coalition? It's remarkable. Like, don't you love the diversity, folks? Those Armenians and Indians and...
Well,
Somalis
they interviewed a guy, and he was from Ethiopia, and he said that, this is the reason he came to this country was for, religious freedom, and that he didn't want his children being indoctrinated. But see, this is what can happen, Joey, when you don't, and it's not gonna. We're lost trying to do anything, in Washington, but it's going to take ground movements. It's going to take people that say, I don't care whether it's Democrat or Republican, but we're going to come together and we're not going to put up with this crap anymore.
Amen. That's my hope, is that the populist left and right are going to be teaming up here and on a lot of big issues.
Have a good weekend.
You too. 272-9228. This part of the program, in fact, the entire hour, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon, who's a new mother. She was helping close a deal like 4 days after giving birth. It's how, it's been some more time. That's how good they are there. And they actually can sit down and get to know you. So instead of a 1-800 number or some internet company where you'll probably have some surprise on closing day, no, sit down with local folks who, again, will get to know you. And not just personally, but like, what's your financial situation? What are your goals in buying a home? And they can walk you through that home buying process from pre-approval all the way to closing day. And of course, a lot of folks are looking for refinance deals these days with all the credit card debts that's out there, other sorts of debts. Maybe you want to consolidate with a refinance deal through Alabama Home Mortgage. And if you're a veteran, they are VA home loan specialists, and you can refinance as a veteran up to 100% of your home's estimated value, I believe. So it's the best deal in town. So check them out today. You can always call Kim and Madeline at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. You can also visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Hopefully when we come back, we'll have Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances on the line. Y'all stay tuned.
may not know whether he's coming or going. But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Kia of Auburn is celebrating our 10th anniversary the entire month of July. Thank you to all the customers who trusted us with your vehicle needs. Stop by our dealership and see all the different 2023 Kias we have in stock. And register for some great prizes, like a 3-day, 2-night stay in Panama City Beach, tickets to Six Flags, Alabama Adventure and Splash Park, Wild Animal Safari, a big screen TV, and much more. Registration is quick and you don't have to be present to win. Kia of Auburn, where you are always number one.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how are you this afternoon?
Hey, Joey, I'm great.
Good to hear from you. So let's talk about, because you deliver confidence there at Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Say somebody buys, like, it could be a TV or a washer, dryer, any of your electronics or appliances, and something just sadly goes wrong at some point. How can you help folks out, your customers out?
Well, you know, as much as we would like everybody to think that we're perfect, we're not. And so, you know, sometimes we have a mishap. We forget a unit, or we have the wrong unit, or the unit's damaged. And, you know, we try to do the right thing to get the customer handled as quickly as we can. You know, sometimes they need service, 2 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 months into the sale. We've got our own technicians that we're going to send out there to work on your washer, your dryer, your refrigerator. So we try to have the backup plan ready for when you do need help. And then you can always call a Cohen and talk to me or my brother, and, you know, we're going to do whatever we can to facilitate a solution for you.
Well, and y'all are easy to work with in terms of the buying process. I know personally, but, you know, it did calculate. As I was buying that 85-inch TV, I'm like, okay, this is a big-ticket item for me. Also childhood wish fulfillment. But I know that y'all have my back, and that's just any sort of item like that, big ticket. It's good to know there is that extra service after the sale.
Right, because that's what it's all about. I mean, as much as I want to tell you that my Sony TV or my Samsung is better than the one you can buy at the box store, it's the same model for model. And what sets us apart is we are going to try to take care of you and do a greater job on the back end. Whereas, you know, my friends down the street, you buy a Whirlpool or a Maytag or what have you, they give you a 1-800-WHO-CARES when you need service, because, you know, that's just not their gig. They just want to move boxes.
So folks can always call y'all at 277-8890, or I'm looking at thinkcohens.com right now, but it's probably the best way just to stop by there on the boulevard.
That's right. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. We're here until 4 on Saturdays. And nobody here has got any pressure on a customer to make a decision. So, you know, we just want to try to give you enough information so that you can make the right choice for what your needs are.
Well, I appreciate the time as always, Michael.
Have a great day. Stay warm.
Yeah, you too. Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances, great sponsor here of News and Views in the afternoon. Final hour of News and Views on a Friday coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A woman and 3 children found dead in an Oklahoma home in what may be a murder-suicide. It happened Thursday in Verdigris, an East Tulsa suburb. Police say a 13-year-old girl kidnapped in Texas was rescued in Southern California when a passerby saw her hold up a help me sign in a parked car. Singer Tony Bennett, with such hits as I Left My Heart in San Francisco, has died at 96. Some believe that a swift release from North Korea is not in the cards for Private Travis King, as Pyongyang might try to use him as a bargaining chip to wrest concessions from Washington. And Wall Street stocks have now moved higher. The Dow ahead 85 points, the Nasdaq up 36, and the S&P adding 16. This is SRN News.
The recent bank failures are serving as a warning about how fragile our banking system really is. As millions of Americans panic, do you know what central banks are doing? Well, they're actually buying up gold at record levels. They're relying on it as a safe haven during these difficult times. That's how confident they are in the dollar. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian author and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. We're all Americans who want to protect our family's savings no matter what. I tell people the best option is to diversify their 401k or IRA into physical gold or silver with the help of Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, just text the word FAITH to the number 989898 to get a free information kit on gold IRAs. Look, there's no strings attached. It's not going to hurt you to take action now. So take the first step today and educate yourself. Get your free info kit when you text FAITH to 989898 right now. And I pray you and your family are greatly blessed.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
Hi, everybody. We have an excessive heat warning today with a potential heat index perhaps in the 110 to 112 range. High temperature up to about 99. Scattered random storms, especially this afternoon and this evening, and some of those could be strong, possibly severe. Big heat produces big storms. Tonight's low 76. Tomorrow, scattered to numerous storms just about any time, but especially in the afternoon and evening hours. Temperatures will be a little bit more reasonable over the weekend with highs in the lower 90s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
1819 News.
The state of Alabama has successfully executed a death row inmate. 64-year-old James Barber was pronounced dead at 1:56 a.m. on Friday at the Holman Correctional Facility. Barber expressed regret for his crime of murdering an elderly woman, Dorothy Epps, back in 2001. He apologized to the Epps family, saying no words fit for how he feels about his actions. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall said that Barber's litany of appeals to avoid justice have now ended, and that justice was served for the heinous, cruel murder of the 75-year-old woman who weighed only 100 pounds. The commissioner for the Alabama Department of Corrections, John Hamm, made a point of revealing that the IV process in this lethal injection was accomplished within 6 minutes. Attorneys for Barber had made a last-ditch effort to stop the execution based on other failed lethal injections from 2022 within Alabama. Since then, protocol and procedures for state executions have been evaluated and restructured. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Rescue Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
Funeral arrangements have been announced regarding a Birmingham firefighter who died after a gunman entered Fire Station 9 on July 12th and shot 2 men. Jordan Melton died from his injuries 5 days later. Services for Melton will be held next Wednesday, July 26th at Faith Chapel Christian Center. Public visitation will be the day before at Smith Gaston Chapel. Today is the start of the back-to-school sales tax holiday throughout the state of Alabama. The sales tax holiday will run from Friday to midnight on Sunday of this weekend. The sales tax exemption will be applied to clothing, school supplies, books, and certain electronics. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
During Prattville Carpet's summer sale, you can get Mohawk waterproof flooring, regularly priced at $11 per foot installed, right now priced at $7 per foot installed. That's huge summer savings. And get interest-free financing for up to 12 months with approved credit. Call 285-8117 or visit prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. We've got a full studio, though. We've got Jonathan Strange and Brian Dawson here across the desk from me. How y'all doing?
Can it really be full without Eddie?
No.
There's always an empty place in my heart when he's not here.
Well, we did have to expand the room. Anyway. Yeah. No, I miss the guy, but he well-earned break for him. He's got a lot going on in life, and get back soon, big guy. And let's see, whenever I'm being nice to him, you know something's afoot.
Yes.
He is looking skinny these days, though, folks. I've been calling him fat and threatening to slap him in the face now for years. And I finally woke up to the fact that, Eddie's kind of skinny now, and I shouldn't call him fat anymore.
And it's, I'm a little bit jelly. He eats donuts and cakes and pies and junk food and is thin. And I have been trying to lose weight for a really long time. And I just can't.
Are you going to be okay?
I'll be okay.
You sure?
I'm going to go eat my feelings.
You sure you don't want to talk about it some more?
Yes.
No, just keep doing what you're doing. You might be a Target model one day.
Target model, that's right. Don't fat shame me, Jonathan.
Let's go to Cranky on line one. Hey, Cranky.
Hey, good afternoon. And guys from 1819, I can't say enough good about everything that you're doing. I mean, you cover the whole enchilada, and you just really do a great job, and it's well appreciated and long overdue.
Well, thank you very much.
Hope you all intend to stay for a while.
Well, that's the intention. I'm sure there's some people in Alabama that is not their intention, and so we've made some friends and some enemies.
Well,
but we intend to stay.
I don't know if you saw the movie Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil about Jim Williams, but if you guys will just adopt the theory that he adopted. He told John Cusack in the movie, he just looked at him, he says, I'm going to stick around and piss off all the right people.
Correct.
That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. But I'm not going to tell you how to run your newspaper. You do a great job of it.
Well, thank you.
You were talking a little bit earlier about the people using not communicating to each other in person, that they do better with digital devices. This is exactly what Ted Kaczynski was talking about 30, 40 years ago. That was one of his big sticking points with modern technology, because the potential good is there, but as far as the abuse of it, you were covering some of that with, using it to, for child trafficking. But what it's done is it has desocialized several generations now. They'd rather text each other. They don't know how to have a telephone conversation. I had somebody tell me the other day that, they call their grandma. They didn't want to call them. It didn't because they didn't like grandma. They did not know how to have a conversation on the phone. They did not know that when the phone rings, you're supposed to pick it up and say hello. And when you get done with your conversation, if it's a civil conversation, you're supposed to say goodbye or have a nice day or whatever you used to end the conversation. But this is exactly what Kaczynski was talking about. And, he started off right away moving into a cabin out in the middle of Montana with no electricity or running water. You'd think with that kind of modus operandi that he would, have the support of all your, no carbon footprint people. And by the way, my disclaimer here is I am in no way, shape, form, or fashion. Ted Kaczynski got 9+ on his theories about what's coming down the pike, but his ideas for solutions, he got like low 2s on solutions. But anyhow, this is exactly what he was talking about. And you can't relearn that. There's no way that you can shift that curve back around to where that many people are like, oh, okay, yeah, now we get it. I'm not saying it's impossible for individuals to do it, but it's more divisive, and I believe there have even been lawsuits that have been proven that there have been subliminal messages, different colors, different things in the background, where people, they can be controlled by, subliminally, and it's just even more leverage on division. And God forbid we have a population that gets together like you were just talking about. The white supremacy movement has got all different sorts of colors, but they're going to do everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I'll quit preaching, but I wanted to tell you once again, thank you for everything that you guys are doing. And if you're not, to the people listening, if you're not using 1819.com and going to it for your information, you're making a mistake. And to you leftists out there, if you want to see some real truth, go see what 1819 is doing. Guys, you take care, and thanks for picking me up, Joey.
Well, of
and,
course.
I'm glad you finally got rid of Eddie. I never liked him, and I'm glad he's gone.
Don't say that about me. And just remember, Cranky, you can't eat your cake and have it too.
Yes, I can. That's why I'm a diabetic. So there you go. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's an interesting point that he made that homeschoolers are what's the moment you bring up homeschool, what's the first thing? Your kids aren't going to be socialized. So they always say, socialize again. Joey knows my children. My children they can communicate with adults. They've never had to send a text message, and so literally the only thing they know is socialization, right? They can, and it's weird because they're not just in a room full of peers that are their age. They have this weird thing where they can go up to adults and actually engage in communication at 7 years old, 8 years old.
And I noticed something from hanging out at your house. There is a virtue in having so many kids of different ages because you can make, you can kind of deputize the older ones, right?
100%.
Yeah. And it keeps everybody in line.
And it teaches the older ones responsibility. Yep. They don't just get to go be this wild adolescent or whatever. It's like, no, man, you need to
look out for your sister.
Look out for your sisters and show them how they're supposed to be behaving. You're setting the tone, and then they feel the weight of that. It's just the whole thing's it's good. I like it, but
see, that sounds nice and all, but I was thinking about getting a dog, call it my baby.
Yeah.
Oh, good God,
that's a thing.
It is a thing. It's sad.
And pretty soon the dogs are going to have smartphones, and then the dogs are really going to be screwed up.
Yeah. Let's see who's on line too. You're on the air. Who's this?
Good afternoon, Joey. This is Babs.
Hey, Babs.
I wanted to tell you the show is great. The earlier part when you were ranting about Hakeem, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I was like you. I saw it last night, and I was screaming at the TV. Made me so mad. I want to tell the gentleman there, and I forgot his name, thank you so much for 1819 News. I joined. I do the $5 a month.
Yay.
And I am so grateful for that. And also, Joey, how is Jack and how is Dan?
Jack is well. Dan, I have to be honest, Dan and I don't talk a lot, but he emailed me the other day, and he's doing well, really doing well.
Great, because I really do miss hearing both of them. And I miss Eddie, too. So, but thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for that rant earlier in the program about, I don't know, it's just, this country's lost its cotton-picking mind.
Well, people can go back and watch the video. I was shaking mad, and I don't like to get that way in public, but sometimes you just got to let it out. And by the way, I was having to hold back because of the FNFCC.
Yes, I know. Well, I don't cuss much, and I don't think I did, but like I said, I was hollering at the TV screen like that made me different. But it made me feel better. All right, bud. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Mr. 1819 News. I'm so grateful for y'all, and I'm trying to turn different people on to it, okay?
Love to hear it. Thank you,
Babs.
Thanks, Babs. His name is Ryan Dawson.
Yes, I take Mr. 1819. I'll do that.
I got to stop making Fight Club references. References now like a fascist thing, apparently.
Wonderful film. Yeah. Man, so I think it's funny. So as a content creator, I mean, at the end of the day, that means we create content. News as a form of content, opinions a form of content, podcast, radio is all content. The best form of content is in the news and opinion space, at least the opinion side of the news, is anger and yelling. It just does. It performs well. And so I was thinking, what could we rant about in hour 3 here, this last hour on a Friday? And quite frankly, I have nothing to rant about. It's very strange. Like I told you about how excited I am that Tucker Carlson is now free to absolutely destroy the careers of neocons, and just literally watching that we're never going to, like, after Donald Trump and then with what's happening with the media, we're never going to have to suffer through another Mitch McDole, right? Which is, from Bob Dole to George Bush to Mitt Romney to John McCain. Like, we were told that was the conservative hope, and we all had to believe it because Fox News was the gatekeeper and they said it was the guy, so we had to believe it. Well, then we saw who Mitt Romney and John McCain actually were, and we're like, what in the world? Well, now you're looking at Trump, DeSantis, and Vivek. Those are the front runners right now. We're never going back to that, right? That will never happen again. And now what needs to happen is that needs to happen all the way down ballot. The people need to realize that the people who are up and that we're told that we have to vote for in all the other places, they are also Mitt McDole, okay? And you need to find your fire breathers that you need to put in there that are actual true believers that are gonna move the needle and work for the people. So I have so much hope pumping through my veins from this media shift that's happened that I get to be a part of at 1819 News, that you get to be a part of here at Blue Water and doing your show and the stuff you're doing with us at 1819. I'm just happy, and it's this weird feeling I'm not used to. And then to top it all off, Kay Ivey's like, yeah, ESA's all the way. So it's there's nothing to yell and scream about right now.
Yeah, if all of a sudden Joe Biden came out and said, "Hey, let's do the Bitcoin idea RFK Jr. just put out," I'd be like, "Great! Yeah. I don't care if Biden does it. I don't care who does it.
Yeah,
I just want certain things done." And
I'm frustrated about something. I'm pretty frustrated that it seems like our world is getting more polarized. I know that's just a talking point that everybody says, but just hearing some of the conversations from callers or just anybody that you interact with today. For example, this phone conversation. I have actually some customers that in the shop that come in that have asked, like, hey, how do we? If I have a phone addiction, it's very common. I pull out my phone every second that I'm in a store just waiting 5 minutes, and I'll tell them my recommendation is use grayscale. So you can turn on grayscale on your phone to where it takes the color out of everything, and that's proven to when you see something that's so pretty you want to look at it versus when you're looking at your phone every time and it's in black and white. That discourages the habit of just kind of pulling it out every 5 seconds.
Well, and
to finish my point, I'm just trying to say that I feel like there's so many people in society that just say phones are bad. And it's like, that's the wrong conversation. The conversation is there's so much good that having this technology has done for us. We just need to figure out how to minimize the risk.
Right.
But then not saying on the other side that locking our kids at home for 2 years didn't have a way worse benefit than handing them cell phones, in my opinion, is just the wrong conversation.
And, wouldn't it be a heck of a thing if this advancement of the internet, but also information technology, as we're going into artificial intelligence, maybe even getting towards artificial general intelligence, wouldn't it be a heck of a thing as we go further and further into these new technologies? Actually, what we're doing is examining ourselves. We still don't understand consciousness. And I bring that up because when you go to Twitter, you can see the most beautiful, incredible things, the works of art and beautiful things people do for each other. And then you can see the most depraved things if you look hard enough. And it's almost like this technology is amplifying
whatever you're looking for,
human nature. Yeah, and however you choose to foster yourself.
And every technological advancement, be it phones or be it nuclear power. So nuclear power can destroy Nagasaki and Hiroshima, or America for that matter. But it can also power millions of homes. So what are we going to do with this technological advancement? Are we going to lay waste, or are we going to power homes, right? So cell phones, same thing. People talk about, social media is bad. Well, when I was in prison, my wife that I'm now married to found me. My mom was running a Facebook page for me, and that's how she found me. And so I'm hard pressed. I mean, I hate Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, but at the same time, I'd be hard pressed to say it's a net negative. And so, again, there's always these positives and negatives, and how can we? And it's all about training. It's like when we start talking about this technology is bad for this, it's, well, no, the idea of personal responsibility and discipline is just thrown out the window. It's like, no, here's this thing. I'm a parent. That's what I was talking about with the preparation. So my son will have a cell phone, and I'm going to teach him how to use it. I'm going to train him about the dangers and things like that. I'm not just going to throw it at him and be like, here you go, buddy.
100%.
Right. And so it's understanding that we have a personal responsibility to deal with these things as the way they are, that were different than when we were there.
Well, we were not talking about technology, but we were talking about masculinity. Scott Beeson being on the show this week. And we kind of hit that point of, you want to be able to train, especially your sons, young men, because young men who don't get the proper training, or young men who are made purposely weak and kind of useless or harmless, so to speak, you better watch out for the barbarians that don't get the training and who reject all your nerfing of the world.
Yeah.
Because young men are the ones that start revolutions, and usually, let's not become revolutionary France.
Yeah. And again, and this is going back to the Tate thing, the message is, if you really look at it, and it's not just Andrew Tate, it's any of these guys that are in the masculinity space that are saying the people who go and shoot up schools and do these horrendous things, these were men that were not taught stoicism. These are men who were not taught how to control their feelings, right? So a masculine message for men is basically control your feelings, man. You can't just do whatever you think you can do. You have a responsibility to society. If a building's on fire, you run in there and save people. Like, this is what men were meant to do. This is what we were built to do. And when you don't give those men that responsibility, they don't have stoicism, they don't understand why God created them, then all that testosterone and all that stuff, it's gonna come out in a way that's not channeled and proper, and it actually wreaks havoc and destruction.
How many times have we heard through Hollywood, through YouTube, through just any channel of content, trust your feelings?
Yeah.
That's a terrible piece of advice. Right. Terrible piece of advice.
Well, and actually, it's the degenerate. I like to read folks who live the dark side but have redeeming qualities, and one of my favorite poets is Charles Bukowski. And on his gravestone, this guy, he was a vagabond. When you read about it, you get why he lived on the dark side. He was raised in it by his parents. It's pretty awful. And then vagabond during the Depression and all this stuff. But that guy, no matter what happened to him, after like his 30s, he would sit down at his typewriter and write every night. He was complete unknown. He'd work at the post office, and he just kept going, and then he hit it big with his writing. But on his headstone, at his grave, it says Charles Bukowski, yada yada, this year, and it says don't try. And you might say, well, that's kind of a depressing statement. But I actually think too, the message of you can be anything you want to be. It's like, no. There are a lot of blind alleys you can go down. Like, don't try to recreate the wheel. Yeah. More figure out who you are. You have freedom, but it is very much confined within who you are, the world you're around. You got to find your place in the world as much as you use your freedom. I think sometimes folks try way too damn hard, and sort of the wheels fall off, so to speak, when they don't get what they expect.
Well, look at modern education. This is a problem we have now. I can't tell how many people I know that are in college right now that say, I don't know what my major wants to be. And it's like, I feel like, as a business owner, I've had the opportunity I started my business out of a necessity. It wasn't just, I want to be a business owner. It was, no, like, I need to eat. And over the course of doing that for a decade, I've had the pleasure of doing multiple different industries, different types of work. And I finally kind of figured out what I like. I don't think anybody at 18 knows, I'm going to be a pilot and fly around the world. If you do, you're super lucky.
Yeah. Right.
Most people have no clue what they want to do, and they just need a path to where they can at least eat and have a roof over their head to figure it out.
Yep.
Exactly. 272-9228. I got it this break. You can see the comment on the screen, though. Randall is asking, ask Jonathan to explain quantum.
Oh, gosh.
Instead of that, tell us about XI repair.
Well, Google has some cool breakthroughs on quantum if you're interested. The comment's named Randall. Go look it up. It's really interesting. But yeah, XI repair, we fix cell phones, computers, laptops, tablets. We offer data recovery for hard drives, internal hard drives, external hard drives. If you need something that's been deleted off of it, we can typically get it back on a drive or computer. Maybe you have a particular case that you need something off of a drive or a phone for. We can help you out there. We also sell devices. I've got some prices I can give you guys.
Yeah.
I know everybody's always asking for them on air. But we've got some good back-to-school stuff coming out. I know for the parents that are looking to buy a new device, there's the tax-free holiday that's coming up here soon. So please stop by. It'll save you 10%. We got iPhone XRs for $274. We've got iPhone 12s for as low as $480. And we've even got iPhone 8s right now for $189. So
wow.
You're really going to find some good deals, and we stock them with cases and everything else for chargers and all the things you'll need in our store.
You really do have a great team there. Especially the face of the business. Usually walk in, it's Kia and Greg is who I see, and they're great. Helped me out, helped Eddie out, helped my grandfather out there doing, and so many of our listeners. So, folks, if you want to be helped out, 777-1234, or you can go to xirepair.com and get an immediate quote online, get in the queue, and they're great folks to work with, and you won't be the first and you won't be the last person they help. They really are helping so many folks around the river region. People keep, I had some people inflating my ego today. Oh, Joey, you're doing so great. You're going somewhere, dude.
Well, thanks, man.
And I've got a decade plus on you, and what you've done so far in early life, it's remarkable. So I know it's more than just XI Repair that you got in the works. So good to know you. I'll put it that way. Good to know you. See, you don't make friends. You just collect people. So it's usually why do I always have to boil it down to self-interest? Wait, are we going to like a pig cookout, pig roast, like little?
That was Jonathan. I don't know.
I
what
thought
happened.
he cued
Yeah,
that. I was like,
no.
I thought that's friendship music.
Yeah.
To be honest.
We'll be right back.
Touching.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a famous broadcaster.
Hey man, what's happening?
Now, I understand you radio people move a lot, is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, how does this affect your taking care of your retirement money?
Oh man, I don't give that a second thought because my buddy David Ernest, he's my money man.
Your money man?
With the money plan.
I see.
So no matter where I go up and down the dial, David has my back,
I'll bet you know some phone numbers our listeners could call to talk with David Ernest.
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
And he has a website at retirewithernest.com.
Hey, you're on top of it today, man.
I also understand that you hold some sort of a record in broadcasting.
Yes. I was the first person to put together a show with myself, a duck, a chicken, and a goose. But it didn't last long. We got taken off the air.
Why were you taken off the air?
Too much foul language, man.
Oh, my.
So I wasn't crazy about that one myself.
Hey, this is Benji with Marguerites. The great thing about gold and diamonds is that we can make a ring that you have wore for 20 years look like the day you bought it. For example, if you have a white gold ring or rings that you have worn for some years, you can take it to a jewelry store and they will charge $150 to $250 to re-rhodium, polish, and clean your rings to get that look. You ask, what is rhodium? Rhodium is a very expensive precious metal that jewelers use to coat white gold rings to make them extremely light, of course, to make them look brand new again. Marguerites has decided to brighten your summer with the complimentary rhodium and polish of your rings. As of today until August the 5th will be here before you know it. Bring in all your rings at Marguerites. We will rhodium them at no charge whatsoever. So don't miss out on this great deal because at Marguerites, of course, we make it. We really make it. We're open 7 days a week for your convenience. For all your jewelry needs, we are located at 8163 Vaughn Road in the Perpetual Shopping Center. So come see us at Marguerites. Let us make all your rings look like the day you bought them.
Visit Marguerites now through August 5th for your complimentary rhodium and polish.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Jonathan had to run, but we still have Brian Dawson, the founder of 1819 News, in the studio with me. How you doing, Brian?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, like a hair and a biscuit, as they say here.
Indeed. Let's go to Roger.
Country.
Like a rusty fish hook.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger. Roger?
Afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Brian.
Yes, sir.
You still considering expanding content on the new site?
As far as?
Well, I mean, we need a talentless cartoonist. We need a food and beverage section, the top 10 hot dog, hamburger,
yeah.
meat and three,
right.
Beach. That would be, if it pays, or if you'll at least buy the beer and the burgers, I could do that part for you.
Yeah. No, and how it typically works, and when we do get into best burgers in Birmingham and best, whatever here and there, I think typically how it's done now is the company sends a check in, and then that's how they get best burger. I'm either will do it myself or I'll find another rotund person of my stature who knows what a good burger really is, or knows what good wings are, and I'll have them go do the taste test, and it won't be a pay to play. But yeah.
Well, that kind of takes the wind out of my sail, but we need more content for sure. How about when we actually let somebody grow some weed, we could be the quality control. If they ever decide, how did they decide who they were going to let grow pot?
That's still up in the air.
I'm sure there was nothing corrupt about it. I'm sure it was done very responsibly.
Who was FEMA's chief of staff that left? What was his name?
Joe Bonner.
Yeah, Joe Bonner.
And what university did he go to?
South Alabama.
And what university got to choose the pot growers?
That's worth tracking down.
South Alabama. They let a bunch of grad students that know nothing about weed. I mean, they could have turned that over to me and my buddies.
I was going to say,
somebody growing.
They're grad students. Me and Joey got our masters.
Yeah, especially at senior year in college.
So nothing corrupt about that at all.
No, all above board.
Yeah, it literally grows like a weed in this great soil we have in Alabama. We got to have it licensed and regulated in another crony deal.
Yeah,
it's just
God forbid
ridiculous.
Someone grows some in their backyard. And again, that's...
We get the lawsuit because the guy in Montgomery put up, $5 or $6 million facility, put up a big facility out in West Montgomery because it's a quality zone, and before he ever got the license. So now we're suing. It seems like if you were spent $4 or $5 million before you knew you was going to get the gig, it ought to be on you, not the, but just saying, just thinking out loud.
Dude, there's so many things to cover in the state, and it's like drinking from a fire hose every morning. And it's like, what are we going to cover? We've got limited ability to do it, but I mean, it is a target-rich environment in Alabama on finding cronyism and things like you're describing. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt, and for you, Joey, all these people that are inflating your ego today, telling you to take it statewide, nationwide. Come back down to earth, son. I knew Don Barkwell. He was a friend of mine, and you ain't no Don Barkwell.
Well, thank God I didn't make the claim. I appreciate it, Roger.
Bye.
All right.
Let's go to Ken Mullinax. Hey, Ken.
Big Joey, I hope you're doing well, my friend.
Yes.
I just want you to know the sun's rather hot out here by the pool today, so put on your tanning stuff and come visit with us, bring some cold beer.
Yeah, Eddie Bader actually just tagged me in a photo saying, I think I found another great option for you, Joe. And it's some woman she's sitting in the pool, but her ankle's on the side of the pool outside the water. Is that a track? Thanks, Eddie. Somebody who's got a tracker on their leg. I appreciate that.
Well, hey, I was
hood jewelry.
listening to you earlier, and we're all, not all of us, but so many folks are sounding like old fogies. They were moaning and groaning about letter writing in the late 18th, early 19th century, and then telephones were corrupting everybody, and now it's the phones. You just have to, like you were saying, they must be used responsibly. I mean, my kid, this is not responsibly. This is how people get in trouble. We're, having Thanksgiving dinner, and he's texting to his girlfriend across the table.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pushing it a bit, but that has to do also with phone etiquette. And I've seen that before, where all the silverware goes in a certain place on the table. Now they've got a place that the cell phone sits at.
Oh wow, so, yeah. I make it a point if I'm sitting down for dinner with somebody, unless it's somebody I see all the time. It's more I put my phone face down or just keep it in my pocket. I don't mess with that thing.
Yep.
Same here, and I brought him to Mass with me. He's Protestant through his mother, but I'm Catholic. And he started to pull it out. I said, if you take that phone out during Mass, they're going to really need to pray for you here, buddy boy. Big time. But anyway, I won't keep you long. It's interesting. Somebody calling, moaning and groaning about the weed, and then earlier, everybody used to quote the Federalist Papers and the Constitution and Shakespeare, and nowadays the bar's been lowered a little bit, don't you think, Joey?
Oh yeah, I constantly get people that accuse me of talking in cursive, so I try to keep that lid on it.
Oh, that's our older people. That's our secret code, so that my 30-year-old son and other folks can't read, what we're communicating among each other. So for what it's worth.
Well, maybe I'm an old soul because Shakespeare still has a special place in my heart.
You also went to Catholic school.
No doubt. So, as a former journalist, are you guys going to go up on content, or are you just going to keep it political?
You're talking to me, 1819?
You got the news guy there, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, what we have to do is ultimately what we were created to do. We're in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama. So, first and foremost is holding, the people in power accountable, be it legislators, be it corporations, be it whatever. Because at the end of the day, any time there's not journalists holding them accountable, corruption and good old boy cronyism and stuff is going to soar. And so, our primary hope is, our primary purpose is to do that. But obviously,
government and politics. There's a place for that. You
don't
have to have
but it has to be bigger than that, right? And so I'll tell you my overall vision. If you ever watch my podcast or listen to it, and sometimes it's kind of getting high on my own supply.
I have to look at it. I have it, and I haven't read your stuff on the internet either.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
So all of my stuff is about biblical masculinity, manhood, being a good father, being a good husband, how to train your children. Like, this is kind of my passion. And so that's not political. That's not speaking into legislative this or that. But, our bread and butter is covering state politics because no one else was doing it. And if they were doing it, they were getting paid to do it a certain way rather than, doing it down the middle. So, ultimately, we have a heavy state government focus because we feel like that's where the biggest gap was. But we also, we do big feature stories on the Big Oak Ranch with John Croyle and things like that. So,
that kind of stuff's important. We recently took a grandson to Selma 2 weeks after the tornado, so he could help pick up limbs. He was 5 years old then, so he could be part of the problem and see what men and women do who care about their community.
Amen.
And that's what little Tate talks about all the time now. Lucky for me, my first job out of college, I worked for probably the only governor that never had any cronyism at all in Alabama, George Wallace. I wish you could see my face and the irony in it right now.
Yeah, I was about to say I could feel it coming through the phone.
I know how it works. But anyway, take care, Joey, and glad to see you in the afternoon. Before we know it, you'll run off to some major market, and we can all say, I knew Joe in the day.
And I never liked him from the beginning. I appreciate it, Ken.
Son of a gun. Bye.
272-9228. I appreciate all these calls in this hour. In a second, we got to hit this break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Bath Innovations of Alabama. And at Bath Innovations, we're getting near the end of the month, and I'm sure they're low on supply, folks. They only had 10 vouchers at the start of July. 10 vouchers for 25% off this top-of-the-line walk-in bathtub system. It's called the Alexis. Now, it isn't your just run-of-the-mill walk-in bathtub by any means with just a door or something, which is cool. But this has, of course, the door where you walk in and then sit down, but like slip-resistant seating, all sorts of safety bar railings to get in and out of this thing. And it has 5 standard therapies. It's essentially something, if you went to a professional spa or something, you might see something like this. You can have it in your home. Things like hydrotherapy, jet massage, a total of 10 water jets massage the body throughout. You can help eliminate pain from those sore muscles. Or air bubble therapy. It's 18 air spa jets, release all sorts of thousands of tiny bubbles. It's like you're in a champagne glass, but what that does is help with circulation and buoyancy. So if you really are just sore, arthritis, these sorts of things, you feel weightless, and it gives you a lot of relief. They also have color chromotherapy on the Alexis walk-in bathtub system, aromatherapy, ozone therapy, and purification. These products are UL approved. It's top of the line, folks. So if you want 25% off this incredible product, you got to get by Bath Innovations of Alabama today. You can always call them at 271-2723, but I really encourage you to stop by 2331 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery, and be sure to tell Brad McDowell and the team there that, well, Joey from News and Views sent you. We'll be right back. Take a lot of these calls and more after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hey, we're talking to Tammy. Tammy, why does everybody loves Mama's Produce?
Goodness, there's a whole lot of reasons to love Mama's Produce. We got ice cream. Man, have we got some fresh peas. We've got fresh limas. We've got watermelons, tomatoes. There's a whole lot of reasons to love Mama's.
And Tammy, I understand you got some fantastic watermelons.
Actually, right now I've got in some yellow meat, some sugar babies, some seedless, and I've got some Jubilees that just came in.
And of course, Tammy, you keep everybody up to date on your Facebook page.
We try to stay engaged on Facebook, and if I don't answer you on Facebook or Messenger, I'll sit down at the end of the day and go through them.
Tammy, that sounds good. Now tell us where you are.
We're at 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville. It's about a half a mile south of the Midtown McDonald's, attached to Prattville Farm Center and right across from Pig Enterprise. Yep, we close at 5:30 Monday through Friday and Saturday at 2. Everybody loves Mama's.
Men, if you're having issues with erectile dysfunction or feel like your energy level or sex drive is down, maybe you're looking for a boost in the gym or the bedroom, give Montgomery Men's Health a call at 334-440-3663. Get your testosterone tested and get back in the game. That's montgomerymenshealth.com.
Hello, this is Eddie Bader with eXp Realty, and I want to tell you about advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting. I made the decision to advertise with Blue Water about 2 years ago and have seen the results daily. The Blue Water team has truly become family to me and always ready to help.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
As we've evolved, we've learned that our true core customer are families. We do better near high schools. We do better in areas that have a dense suburban market.
Casey Beal is the COO of Fat Boys Pizza in Metairie, Louisiana. They're headed east and they're looking for new places in Mobile or Birmingham. We talk about what he's looking for when he picks a marketplace. Listen to What's Working Saturday noon or find us online at what'sworkingcam.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by H&H Carpets, where you will find a complete line of Mohawk carpet with exceptionally clean, smart strand fiber. It's always available and ready to be installed. H&H Carpets, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas weather.
Hi, everybody. We have an excessive heat warning today with a potential heat index perhaps in the 110 to 112 range. High temperature up to about 99. Scattered random storms, especially this afternoon and this evening, and some of those could be strong, possibly severe. Big heat produces big storms. Tonight's low 76. Tomorrow, scattered to numerous storms just about any time, but especially in the afternoon and evening hours. Temperatures will be a little bit more reasonable over the weekend with highs in the lower 90s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE Credit Union makes auto loans easy with rates as low as 4.75% APR. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. Let's go to Doug from Titus. Hey, Doug.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Mr. XI Repair, I apologize. Your name is slipping me right now, but
Jonathan had to leave.
He slipped.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Why his name
fine.
slipped.
Got a question for Brian, and then Joey got a question for you. Brian, I'm retired military, and I love, even though sometimes they're a little bit dramatic, but Hollywood produced movies about our Declaration of Independence and that war where we ran the Redcoats all the way across the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes, sir.
And if I'm not mistaken, you're going to know what I'm saying when I say it was 3%ers.
Yes, sir.
That's what I've been taught. And, Brian, what I remember in almost all of those movies, because there wasn't a telegraph, telephone, much less a smartphone, a lot of those men met in the churches.
100%.
And I've asked you this before, but I don't remember your response. Will we ever get back to that? I'm not talking about taking up arms.
No.
I'm talking about, and I know this is your passion, men gathering and taking control of society in the country in a civil way. Do you think we'll ever get back to that?
Yeah, no. So what the biggest recruiters of the Revolutionary War was the Black Robe Regiment. It was 90% Presbyterian pastors who wore black robes when they preached. And so the British troops actually, when they would be writing and you got their letters and you look back on it, they called it the Presbyterian conflict. Okay, and it was because these darn people, and again, among Christians, the ones who it's really the political resistance theory, Protestant resistance theory, where it's really heavy is in the Reformed camp. Not going to get into all the different denominations and everything else, but at the end of the day, our founders believed that resistance to tyranny was obedience to God, period. And so taking up arms is not the first place you go. Our founders gave us an incredible heritage, and some of that, a big bulk of that heritage is the fact that we don't have to do that. They already did that, and they gave us all these other checks and balances. However, we do have to resist, and people need to be taught how to resist biblically. The biggest resistance that I do in my household is I got married. My wife's a stay-at-home mom. We homeschool. I have 7 children, and we may be having more. Right, and so resistance isn't always militias with "don't tread on me" flags going and storming capitals. Resistance comes in a lot of different ways, and it is. They tell you to get vaccinated, absolutely not. And I can tell you biblically why I'm not going to. Wear this mask, absolutely not. You can't take communion. So I believe that it's so tied together. Our fuel for resisting tyranny should come directly from the scriptures, and it should be preached from the pulpits. And the pastors should be teaching their congregations how to think biblically about how Christians are supposed to operate in the civil sphere, right? So you have the church tells you how you should operate in your family. The church tells you how you should operate in the church, right? It's called ecclesiology. And then the church in the Bible tells you how Christians are supposed to behave in the civil sphere. What is our responsibility, right? And so this is all stuff that needs to be renewed, and COVID forced a lot of pastors to really get up on their stuff on this. But
well, and we're running out of time here, and I'll just say, Doug, I've maybe been somewhat coy about it on the airwaves because it could go sideways quickly. But I've had trouble. I was raised Catholic, 12 years of Catholic school. I've had trouble believing, and I've been kind of on a journey there. Never angry at God, but more like, hey, is this really what I believe? How can I get to that point of faith? And I've found that in the last several years, especially through COVID, I'm revisiting stuff and really wrestling with stuff. And what you find is there are more and more people, even folks that are still secular or still have trouble believing, that are starting to speak in the language of Scripture and of God and talking about these themes. And I almost had the thought the other day that as much as we claim, we're just doing politics with Republicans and Democrats and all the different camps within, I'm like, no, it actually makes more sense if you start looking at it as like denominational fights.
Yeah.
It makes a lot more sense if you start looking at it that way.
And even religious.
Yeah.
Well, guys, y'all are my hope, and what I mean by that is masculine male millennials that get it, and they're sick and tired of the status quo. And I mean, I could talk until you hit the button on me, but y'all just keep up the fight. And my son's right in there with y'all.
Amen.
And he believes in that 3%. And I'm not talking about them crazy alt-right guys. I'm talking about the need for your generation and your gender to keep the fight. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks, Doug.
272-9228 are running out of time here. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services and Ashley and her team there at Pest Pro. They're just great folks. It was so awesome going to their grand reopening. I don't know if I've told you about this, Brian, but they just opened up a brand new location on Main Street in Millbrook. And it wasn't just Ashley and her team. It was like all the local business. The mayor, Al Kelly, showed up. And it's great to see such a fixture in that little community be celebrated like that amongst friends and family and colleagues. And it just reminded me how great these folks are. They're not just great at taking out the mosquitoes or the termites, or maybe you got cockroaches, wasp nest in the attic, whatever it is. They also are constantly giving back, connecting with the community. These are great local folks. So check out Pest Pro Services today. You can always call them at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. You can also go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell them, well, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Real quick break, come back, try to close up shop here.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Do you have a cell phone or tablet that isn't charging, dying fast, or maybe the screen is damaged? Don't get suckered into buying a new one. XI Repair can fix your current device same day and in under 30 minutes. Their certified technicians fix and recover data from thousands of cell phones, computers, tablets, game consoles, and drones 7 days a week. Give them a call today at 334-777-1234 or visit them online at xirepair.com.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing, and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan, call Alabama Home Mortgage, because folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586 368, Equal Housing Lender.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Before we go to a call or two to end the show, this part of the program brought to you by Carl Schmidt there at the Herb Shop. Folks, you got to get by there. Carl can help you. Maybe you're an athlete and need some extra supplementation to help you get through those hard-working days. Maybe you're getting up there in years and you have certain deficiencies in crucial vitamins and minerals. Carl Schmidt can help you there at the Herb Shop. They even have things like aromatherapy to get back that sense of smell or to regulate your mood. And don't forget the LifeWave X39 phototherapy patch. This stimulates stem cell production within the body, and it's true reverse aging. So essentially, you're going to have an immune response and an immune system that's 10, 15, 20 years younger. And actually, talking to Dr. Tankersley, that both Brian and I know, he was saying that's actually that FLCCC, the COVID regimen, post-COVID. Yeah. It's a great way to fight the spike protein, these phototherapy patches. So y'all check out Carl in the Herb Shop today. 271-2882 is their number, or you can always stop by that brand new location in the Pepper Tree Shopping Center just off of Vaughn Road, and be sure to tell Carl and the team that Joey from News and Views sent you. Let's go to Papa B real quick. Hey, Papa B.
Papa B, yeah. Well, the very idea that you want to type us baby boomers is an outrage.
I'll fight you, old man.
Feel the rage.
Get off my lawn, you young whippersnapper. So, yeah, but I do understand that, there may be some merit to the idea that baby boomers, especially as they're older baby boomers, and even those that would be maybe World War II, generation that are still alive. But they might still trust the news, broadcast news, listen to it. I know my mother, I kind of watch her, still she'll watch CNN, and whatever they say, oh my gosh, it's the gospel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I have to just tell them this is a lie, and they don't believe that I'm telling them. She doesn't believe me, she believes them. Because it's on the news.
I'm running out of time, Papa B, but to quote one of my favorite writers, what is it? The young know everything, the middle-aged suspect everything, and the old believe everything. And our country's going from believing to suspicion, but it's, I think, a healthy suspicion of our institutions.
I would say just real quickly that I don't think it's happening anymore. I don't believe that they have the network news has that kind of sway anymore. I think they've lost the ability in most.
Amen to that.
Minds. So anyway, all right, you guys, have a good one.
You too. Cool. And Randall, I'm sorry, I really just have time to say hello.
Hello, man. All right, let's see y'all.
Call back later, man. Yes, you'll see us on Monday. I appreciate the time today, Brian. Appreciate Jonathan Strange stopping by. Get back when you can, Eddie. I miss you, big boy. And, well, y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Vidal. Well, he's next.